Yo, good morning, Knicks fans. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Man, I missed y'all last night, man. Or earlier today, I guess. I missed y'all, man. D is balling. What's good? The New York Knicks was good. My guy. I see you. I got your stuff and I looked at it. Just give me a little bit of time to hit you up. Just give me a little bit of time to hit you. My work schedule all of a sudden has gotten crazy. All of a sudden. So just give me a little time, man, to digest what it is that I'm seeing and that I can get back with you. You know what I'm saying? Don't take that as disrespect. Just take it as respect. The fact that, you know what I'm saying, the fact that I just need some time to check out some stuff, man. Stuff just been busy. Chef NYK in the building. Stephen Fox was good. Kareem Adolphus was good. Where you been? Kareem, where you been? Felipe 210 was good. Kareem, low energy. Kareem, like, good morning. Nah, man, you high energy every time I see you. Don't be trying to tiptoe through the tulips now. You know what I'm saying? It's 9 o'clock in the morning and you trying to be all professional. Where Kareem at? I'm K-Band. What's good? That's flesh and blood right there. What's good, K-Band? What's good? What's good? Hey, man, got a lot of stuff. Got a lot of stuff going on, man. Yo, I missed y'all though. Yo, this thing right here is for real. When we say, the NBK fan, yo, I mean this thing is real. Let me before I get started, I gotta do my daily due diligence. So hey, I'm K-Band. Look, look at this. Look. Chef NYK in the building. Let me do my due diligence. I just want to make sure that I'm broadcasting in both places. Just want to make sure, you never know. You got to double check. You got to make sure everything is always on point. So. You got to double check. All right, there it is, dude. All right, dude. There it is. All right, let me take the other one. I'm coming, y'all. I just want to take the other one just to make sure we straight. Y'all know the early bird gets the worm, and the late bird. Yeah. All right, sportscaster. I see y'all. The other wing, the other side of the family. What's good? Hey, I'm K-Band. Listen, man, they for whatever the reason is, I think it's just us being organic. People love it. As soon as people get a whiff of what we have going on, they love it, fam. I'm telling you, they love it, and it's not because I'm giving them a super product. I think it's just because they flat out like the product that we as a family are presenting to them. Grandmaster Vegan was good. For dinner yesterday, I had beans and rice. Black beans and rice. Thank you, Miss Mocha. Black beans and rice. And brown rice. Thank you. Yeah. What I'm trying to do is this vegan thing, man. I'm trying to get what happened was I plateaued. I was just trying to eat right, and then I plateaued, and then I went a vegetarian for a week, and then went vegan the rest of the way, and then I started losing weight again, and my energy level skyrocketed too by going vegan, which was strange, and so that was my motivation to keep doing it because the food was. Man, listen, eating vegan food, man, being vegan is like. But the benefits are good, though. The health benefits are good. Yeah, yeah. Let me put this thing. I'm gonna keep it up. I know. It's hard. Yes, it is hard work. It's a job. Stephen Fox, what's good? What's good? Let me do something real quick because I don't have like a set monologue or anything like that in place to kind of talk about. What I wanted to do is do more of the call and response, kind of like we did yesterday, man. I kind of liked it. All right, hold on. Let me. Dr. Sebi, who was that? I'm gonna have to check that. Oh, Danny Landis is in the building. What's good? What's good? What's good, y'all? Hey, y'all need to check the work from the New York Knicks, man. Hey, check the work. Check the work, man, from this guy here. Y'all need to check the work, man. Hit him up for some stuff. Some of this stuff is special, man. He was like, yo, on a humble, like, yeah, I'm trying to, whatever. I ain't nobody. And then you get the stuff, and it's fantastic. Alex Jorge in the building. What's good, Alex Jorge? I started watching your cast 3 days ago, and I find it to be fire. The guys you have on make it dope. Your analytical knowledge of the Knicks is fire. Ron Cleveland is hilarious. Hey, of all that stuff you said, I agree with all of it, especially the part where you say Ron Cleveland is hilarious. And thank you for the support too, man. And y'all, basically what we looking to do here is build another Knicks family. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand, like some of y'all get y'all Knicks coverage from a broad overview, like somebody that's not even a Knicks fan. They just do a lot of research, but they don't get the secret sauce of being a Knicks fan. They don't get the synergy between Knicks brethren. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand the plight of the Knicks fan base. All they really do is hit you with stats and stuff, and maybe they have more sources and stuff than we do. But the thing is
yeah.
What's good, fam?
What's good, man? How you?
Man, I'm all right, man. I got off work like 7:00, and I had a conflict of interest here in the home office, so I had to push the time back some.
Sorry,
what I'm saying? Because I was jumped on like 7:30, but I couldn't jump on 7:30 with everybody working from home and all that stuff and being loud, like you know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, 9:00 good. That's 7:30 too early, man. That 9:00 great.
Hey, I was gonna walk in the door 7:10, take a shower, get me a cup of tea, and jump straight on. That was the plan.
I'm questioning if you're even human.
Huh?
I'm questioning if you're even human. You're a machine, bro.
Hey, man. Nah, man, it's y'all. If it wasn't for y'all, man, y'all, hey, I'm telling you, y'all the home field advantage, man. I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Y'all the home field advantage, man. Is what motivate us to get on here and do this.
Much love to the Knicks fan, man.
Yeah. It's so Alex Jorge says, I've heard him on Knicks Fan TV and immediately recognized him. I'm from Manhattan, but currently live in Norway, and I'm now subscribed and looking forward to your cast. Keep it up. Hey,
international.
International fam, that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And you thought it was me. It ain't me. It's the fan base. It's this home field advantage we got.
Shout out to the
Marquise Walker's in the building. Marquise Walker, I need to talk to you. Oh, I forgot. I got to look in the camera. Marquise Walker, I got to talk to you. I'm a DM you my telephone number, and so one of these days we can get on and chop it up. I got to talk to you about some real stuff. And I ain't talking about New Edition either. Yeah, man. I'm not a vampire. Y'all are what do you call it? That fruit that monsters like to eat. They keep them in it. Y'all are ambrosia. That's what it is, man. y'all like the ambrosia. I could legit, dog. It's raining here. I could have really took that shower and just laid straight down. You know what I'm saying? That rain too. You know what I'm saying? But you know what?
No.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. Nah, the family, the Knicks fam, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yo, this is T Money. What's good? T Money Kazoo in the building. What's good? What's good, man? This fan base is crazy. It's like, and when I say fan base, I don't mean a fan base of me. I'm just talking about how everybody come in and legit embrace everybody here. You know what I'm saying? Like the chat. I feel like of all the Knicks content creators, I feel like my chat is the most kumbaya chat of anybody. Of course, the trolls gonna come in every now and then. The trolls come in because they love attention, but you know what I'm saying, they part of the family too. You can't just throw them away. You know what I'm saying? So
overall, good energy, man. That's all.
Yeah, man. Clutch B-ball, what's good? Yo, I saw your video the other day with the little kid. That was dope. Clutch B-ball is like, yo, why is this dude yelling at me like that? Nah, I legit saw your video the other day with the little kid. That was dope. So just want to talk to y'all about a few things, man. We have a lot of stuff going on here. You know what I'm saying? There's rumors out there. People might get traded. A whole bunch of stuff, man. I want to touch on some of it.
Like Buddy Hield?
Yeah, that Buddy Hield thing, man, is crazy.
Buddy Hield was straight to jack 15, 20 shots a game and totally destroyed the development of our young guys.
So what? So if my man comes, think about it. If my man come here and jack up say 15, 16, 17 shots a game and average like 25, 26 points a game, so what?
You don't think that RJ has the potential to be better than what Buddy Hield is now?
I think if so, I like to use the steak dinner analogy, right?
Let's hear it.
So RJ Barrett in the steak dinner scenario is the cat that don't need anything on the steak. He already has the sizzle. He already look good. You know what I'm saying? He's already got the stuff on the inside. You know what I'm saying? I think the only thing Buddy Hield would do to RJ is be like the baked potato and Bud Light to RJ Barrett. You know what I'm saying? I legit don't think Buddy Hield can come here and take something away from RJ Barrett. I think RJ Barrett is potentially the number one option, regardless if we get Buddy Hield or not. I think Buddy Hield can only accentuate what RJ Barrett already brings to the table. Now, how that impacts the other players on the team, how would Buddy Hield impact Obi Toppin and say a Kevin Knox? Now that I might have some trepidation about, right? But in terms of any elite scorer coming to New York to play with RJ Barrett, I don't think that it'll impact RJ Barrett at all. I think it'll only make RJ's game better, tighter. Like say for instance, if Zach LaVine, if it's a Zach LaVine or Buddy Hield, a guy that can knock down some outside shots and take some defensive pressure off of RJ, only makes RJ better.
That point I agree with.
Because RJ Barrett's game is not predicated on jacking up a bunch of outside shots. RJ Barrett's game is driving to the basket. You know what I mean? Which accentuates another outside. Like if we get Buddy Hield and RJ Barrett together, can you imagine if defenders can't double team Buddy Hield because RJ Barrett is a threat to go to the basket? I mean, to me, I think it highlight both of their games. Now, what it does with the Obi Toppin and the Kevin Knox, I think it kind of refines them to table scraps, where both of those guys, Toppin and Knox, have, especially Toppin, has a handle for his position, has elite athleticism for his position.
He's got the full offensive package. Okay.
Yeah. For his position. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I think it might. Obi might get less shots if a Buddy Hield comes.
Of course,
right?
He will.
Right. And depending on your point guard situation, you know what I mean? It could, because if your point guard is also dipping into that pie, getting 12, 13, 14 shots, then where does that leave Obi? You know what I'm saying? Especially if we're not running and gunning, if we're not heavy in transition, if we're just a half court team like we've traditionally been the past 5 seasons, then I think it may be a hindrance to Knox and Obi Toppin.
Okay, well, here's where I'll disagree with you. You brought up some good points, but I'll disagree with you on this point. Is that we need Barrett to have a higher usage rate this year, because his was very low last year, as we pointed out mad times of him being phased out of the offense. Right. So what I'm saying is that if we bring in a Buddy Hield, right? And Buddy Hield is easily going to jack over 16, at least 16 or over 16 shots per game. I'm saying that Barrett's development might run into the same wall as far as Buddy Hield's now coming in and now using up that usage rate. Instead of giving that usage rate and sharing that, because Buddy Hield is not the type of guy to share, even when he does average 3 assists a game, but it's not from breaking down the defense or commanding a double team. So what I'm saying is that his usage rate is going to be high, and I'm just wondering if that would hinder the development of RJ Barrett in his sophomore year.
Well, the thing about usage rate is field goal attempts plus assists.
How much you have the ball in your hand?
Well, I mean, it's field goal attempts plus assists plus free throw attempts. So it's one of those deals where if RJ Barrett just makes his free throws, his usage rate goes up. So based on the calculation or the way I saw it on YouTube or Google. Anyway, I had to go because I had no idea what usage rate meant, because it sounds as if the formula is just how much you have the ball in your hands, but it's actually something different. But I understand where you're coming from, right? But to that point, if RJ Barrett gets his field goal percentage at the rim up from 0 to 3 feet, from 57% into the 70s, now you're talking about a guy, if he hits his free throws, can be a 22, 23 point per game scorer. Yeah, no doubt about that. Okay. Right. So it's one of those things, like, is it just a usage rate, or does RJ need to take those opportunities that he has and converts those? And I'm talking about from 0 to 3 feet and the free throw line.
Well, you also said something too about, well, if you bring Buddy Hield and he commands the attention, it gives RJ more driving lanes, which is true. But we want RJ to develop fully, which means that we just don't want him as a slasher. You know what I'm saying? We want him to develop as a full offensive threat, as to where they got to guard him on the 3-point line, because that's going to give him even more lanes than Buddy Hield commanding attention. So, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel a guy like Buddy Hield, I feel like those type of moves, we have to wait. We have to let certain things happen first before we could bring in a potent scorer like Buddy Hield, because we have to see how some of these young guys are. And this is something that they haven't had in 3 or 4 years. They haven't had the proper time and development in order to say, okay, Frank is this, Knox is that. You get what I'm saying? So I feel that this season we can do that. This is the opportunity to see who's who and who's on the bench, who's starting, who's getting good minutes, stuff of that nature.
All right, so Chef NYK says, I'm going to post this real quick. Freezy, Knicks will be running every chance they get. No, I don't think so. I mean, and so usually Chef NYK and myself, we generally agree. Like
that's what they said in the press conference, though. A lot of players were saying that they wanted to turn their defense into transition points. So I think that's why he's saying that, Freezy.
Yeah, but you know what though, and it's also training camp. So we say a lot of stuff, but then when the season starts, because we heard a lot of that too, because you remember Fizdale said, "Hey, we're gonna snatch that ball off the rim and we're gonna push it," and we snatched the ball off the rim and we walked it up in a funeral procession. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Thibodeau ain't Fizdale though.
Yeah, I know. But my point though is not the source, but the messaging. Like a lot of messaging, a lot of times we say, we're gonna do this early on in the season, and then when the season starts, we revert back to what our natural inclinations basically have us do. So,
well, because of our youth, Freezy, we would have to run though. Well, our team is not experienced to be running half court and destroying the defense in a half court sets and shit and stuff like that. We're not there yet. We're gonna have to get at least 10 to 12 points in transition every game.
Yeah,
to be in a lot of games offensively.
Hey, so let me see. Okay. So Kevin Middleton said, "Damn, my dude, Day A, you really overrating RJ Barrett, wing talent, and you talking about our Barrett usage rate. There is no telling if this new management or I ship Barrett out for a big deal. Relax. Nah, I don't know.
Hold on a second, because he's talking to me.
Yeah.
I'm not the one that said that he's going to average 22 points a game. What I said was that no, and it's not just you. Others have said it as well. My point being is that RJ in his second year has a chance to really catapult and to really develop into a star player. It's there. The tools are there. He has a skill set. I'm not saying he's going to be a top 5 shooting guard or small forward in the East. That's overrating RJ Barrett. I'm just saying that he's going to be really productive this year. We don't want to hurt his development. That's all.
Well, I'm saying this. I'm league average finishing at the basket between 0 and 3 feet is 70%. RJ Barrett was at 57%. Right. Beautiful. So we want to get. I'm sorry. I think it was 73%. And RJ and so I'm speculating if RJ Barrett gets to league average and then hits free throws at 70%. Then he can be a 22-point per game scorer. I'm not just throwing out random willy-nilly numbers saying that RJ Barrett's going to get there. What I'm doing is providing a formula in which if RJ reaches those goals on the same attempts and baselines from last year, from his rookie year, then he should look to improve. You know, so it's one of those deals. Like if he improves in these two places, based on the metrics. It should be easy to get to 22 points.
Yeah, I mean, even if he makes 2 threes on 35% shooting, his points per average would shoot up 3 or 4 points. Just that alone.
Yeah, and so you Illmatics is in the building. What's good, Illmatics? Ship out RJ? No,
That's
that's
ridiculous.
not the conversation. That's not what we're talking about.
I think he was replying to Kevin Middleton when he was talking about ship out RJ for a big deal or something like that.
Yeah,
I
we
think.
ain't doing that.
Yeah, no way. No
Yeah,
way.
because for one, the Knicks don't do big deals, right? For one, that's the most important thing. I mean, we couldn't get Chris Paul or Russell Westbrook, and they were known to be on the trading block, you know. But two, why give away, your young one of your young core pieces? You would want to bring in a guy to accentuate what you already have, right?
Yeah.
You would want, say for instance, you would want Giannis and RJ to play together. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's if we could. That's if. And I know we're not getting Giannis, and I'm not trying to sell you out a pipe dream early this morning. I'm just saying any stars, if we get Dame Lillard, we want Dame and RJ to play together. Basically, is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
So.
There's a process, Freezy, and you've noticed this with every championship team. This is what they do. They get their front office right. They draft. They develop. They get competitive. Then they start bringing in the big names. Then they start bringing in the pieces. Every team does it. So I'm saying that we're not a rule to the exception. And everybody wants to go ahead, ship Mitch, ship RJ. We don't know what these guys could do, bro. They haven't been in the position. They haven't had a good front office. They haven't had good coaching. They haven't had a good development staff. You have to give it time, and this is the year to see that.
Right. At the same time, you're talking about a fan base that's super thirsty, starving. You know what I'm talking about. So so we don't lose in a heartbreaking way. We lose in an embarrassing way. You know what I'm saying? So we want redemption also. You know what I mean? Redemption is a part of our story. I kind of liken us to what the Boston Red Sox were before they started winning World Series. Right? They used to lose in the most embarrassing fashions, collapses, bad plays, bad managerial decisions. All these things went into formulating who the Boston Red Sox were before they turned the corner and won the World Series. Bishop M is in the building. What's good? I see you. Knicks vibes.
But Freezy,
y'all subscribe to Knicks vibes.
But that doesn't mean that we cut. That doesn't mean that we skip steps. That doesn't mean that we shortcut. Because the reality of the situation is that that's what we have done. We have been impatient because of the 20-year hiatus of losing and embarrassment. And where has it got us, Freezy? Back to square one.
Hey, but you know what though? The thing is, I understand where you're coming from, but I think we never left square one. I think we've always been there. I think we've always been in this situation where we rev this engine to go, but we never go anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying that we always been stuck at square one.
Yeah. It's basically what I'm getting at. We like for instance, when everybody is clearing cap space to sign free agents, some people miss out on one, but the next year they hit on one. But us, we never get the superstar free agent. We never get the number one pick in the draft. We never trade for the superstar. We never develop our own star. You know what I'm saying? It's the deal. It's a situation where sometimes we compare ourselves to other franchises, but we're not them, and they're not us. If they had the resources that the Knicks have, they would win. I'll give you an example. If the Memphis Grizzlies had the resources the Knicks have, with money, an owner that'll cut the check, their own network, a fantastic place to live. All those things.
Different franchise. Right.
Yeah, Memphis would probably have 5 championships already. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks have that. The Knicks have 7 or 8 great places for you to live in the New York tri-state area. I mean, 7 or 8 great places to live. I mean, I'm talking about from Connecticut to Jersey City to whatever inside the five
Upstate,
boroughs.
if you want to go there.
Yeah. All these, man. All these different, New Jersey. Listen, man. New Jersey is a fantastic place to live once you get outside the city. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's cheaper.
Yeah, and it's cheaper. You get more bang for your buck than you do in New York. You know what I'm saying? And so you have all these different things going in favor of the Knicks, and we can't capitalize on it.
So why is that, Freezy?
Hey man, just
$1 million question. Why?
Yeah, and if we had the answer to it, guess what? We had championships already.
I have a theory to why. Because young players, stars stay away from nonsense and foolishness.
Right.
And that's what our organization's been. 20 years, Freezy.
So you think it's just a corrupt organization?
I think when you pollute the water and you drink it, you're gonna get sick. And I'm saying that I think that's what's happening with the organization, where we tried. You even said it. Look, we brought in Marbury. You saw how that went down.
Yeah.
We brought in Melo. We saw how that went down. We had KP. We saw how that went down. It's not an organization. I'm saying not now, but before, where you go there and you cultivate and you're like, wow, this is a good place to be. And now other NBA players know it now. And now other agents know that, hey, listen, New York, man, you go there, you're going to mature. Your game is going to be fine. Your game's going to, be furnished. It's going to be good. That's not what's going on in the NBA. You go to Golden State, it's a totally different story. You go to Miami, it's a totally different story.
And so I spoke to a dude from Oakland, right? From Oakland, San Fran area. I think he was from like Santa Clara or something. Where he's from, he was like a snobby. He's like a snobby Golden State Warriors. We're the champs. You know what I'm saying? Okay. We're in the middle of the. You know what I'm saying? And I would probably be in that bag too if the Knicks had won 3 out of the last 5. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But my man was like, the Knicks put priority on the wrong stuff. Golden State just want to win, and y'all got Billy Joel singing the national anthem. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
yeah.
So I'm like, touche. Okay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because in I get what he's saying, because Oakland area has excellent musicians, excellent music, man, excellent culture, arts, everything, right? Mm-hmm. But they run out there, they grab some kid out the audience, hey, sing the national anthem real quick so Steph Curry can start jacking up these threes. but we're like, come to MSG January 17th. Billy Joel will be singing the national anthem and start. And you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm like, why aren't we focused on winning?
Oh man, and look, and that just goes to hit the point. Why is it taking an organization 20 years to figure out that we need to develop our youth? It's stuff like that. This isn't rocket science. Look, and this happened even before this. I mean, the treatment of Patrick Ewing, him being shipped off to Seattle for a can of peanuts.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful.
Yes, that's disrespectful.
And now you lose your base a bit. You know what I mean? Now people, because, Ewing's the top 50 player of all time, one of the best centers of all time. So now that takes notice now. That's a shockwave. Like, wow, New York treated you like that? They did you dirty like that? And then they don't even have the common decency to bring back some of these 90s guys to, put them in certain front office positions or team development positions or, or work with the G League. They don't even do it. Allen Houston. Like, come on, man.
I'm gonna tell you what we really, one of the things I think really I think has burned a bridge with the fan base is of that 90s Knicks era. Mm-hmm. The only player to have his number retired is Pat Ewing.
That's disrespectful.
But the era of basketball was our golden era. You know what I'm saying? That was like okay, so when the Knicks were winning championships, I was a baby. You know what I'm saying? I was like 5.
I wasn't even born.
I was like 5, 6 years old. So that means nothing to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, yeah, we the champs. I'm celebrating, but I really don't know what that means.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so you talking about our golden era is the '90s Knicks, and the only number you retire is Pat Ewing. I mean, yes, that's what I'm saying. It's like you leave it to the fans to remember that era. It's like you don't appreciate the era as a Knicks franchise, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and so the thing about it that there are a lot of things we could do, like a Pat Ewing statue.
That'd be nice.
Hey, chat. What do y'all think about that? You think? What do y'all think about a Pat Ewing statue out front?
Just to show homage, just to show that we appreciate the soldiers that came before and paved the way. That means a lot.
Right. Like and so here's one of the things. I'm not picking on Alex Jorge, right?
Exactly.
But this is one of the things I want to point out. So he says Allen Houston wasn't even an original Knick.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Neither was Dave DeBusschere, and his numbers retired.
Because of the championships and because of the coach he was a part of.
Right. But Allen Houston was played during the 90s. So now you see how Allen Houston comes along and plays in the 90s and basically led those Knicks teams during the late 90s. Allen Houston was not piggybacking off Pat. Allen Houston was a legit player. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. And so Earl LaPearl Monroe, guess what? His numbers retired. He wasn't an original Knick.
Mm.
We got him from the Baltimore Bullets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think what he's trying to say is that he, because don't forget, right after when Allen got that contract from Scott Layton, right? Knicks didn't do nothing. And it was a wasted contract. Allen got injured, I remember, and he just wasn't the same guy after that.
Right.
So I think people hold him accountable for such things. Right. And I think that's where you probably hear that type of talk from.
Right. My thing is the Prince Bun is in the building. What's good? Legion of Knicks podcast. The original vampire only sleeps 27 minutes a day.
This is not to give Dolan any slide, because Dolan has done a tumultuous job. But these problems existed before Dolan. Like, our inability to draft existed before Dolan. Our inability to make smart trades has existed before Dolan. Like, for example, Mark Jackson and Rod Strickland. What was our problem during the 90s, during that whole run? A point guard. I mean, Derek Harper came in and he did what he could. I mean, if we had a Dallas Mavericks Derek Harper back in the 80s, that would have been a different story. But what I'm saying is that if we would have had Mark or Rod around during that run, I mean, we probably would have had a championship or two. So this has been an existing issue with the Knicks.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But the timeline thing is real. Right, like you hear people say timeline, and people are like, man, timeline, it don't really timeline don't mean nothing. If Buddy Hield's 28 and RJ is 20, that don't mean nothing. When they get on the court, they'll figure out a way to play. But Mark Jackson and Pat Ewing were legit on different timelines. Like we legit could not wait for Mark Jackson to develop, because that means say Mark Jackson takes 4 years to develop. Mm-hmm. Like, and I'm talking because in 87, 88, or whatever, he looked decent, right? But he wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? By the time Pat got into his 6th, 7th year, you like, yo, Pat's about to turn 30. We got to hurry up and speed this thing up. So they traded Mark Jackson for Doc Rivers.
Ugh. Come on, man. Bad move.
I mean, I think it was Doc Rivers. I can't remember.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, but at the end, and then Rod Strickland for Maurice Cheeks. It's if I remember it correctly, but all my Knicks memories mishmashed together, and I know I don't have an excuse, especially with Google right here in front of me. But You know, to me, it's more fun recollecting than But the thing is, though, with the culture, I think we need to embrace that '90s Knicks team. You know what I'm saying? It's time out for Starks being the scapegoat. You know what I'm saying? It's time out for people to have bad memories of Charles Smith. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't look at Charles Oakley as that old drunk dude who can't get his life right, man. We should be looking at him as a Knicks fan favorite. You know what I mean? It's time to stop thinking that Herb Williams stole checks for 30 years. You know what I mean? We need to have because what happened is what people don't realize is from about 75 to today, I guess that's like what, 40 something years, 45 years. For like 45 years, we only had one stretch of goodness in there, and that was the 90s.
Yep.
Everything else was a disaster. Everything else from 75 to today has been absolutely a bonfire, a grease fire, except for the 90s Knicks. And the 90s Knicks actually played at a standard that we hope our team aspires to today.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time.
Right? Yeah, 50 wins, good defense, and team ball.
Yep. And to have grit and toughness. We like that too.
Right. Right. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and that's why people like the Tom Thibodeau hiring, because he is those things.
Right.
He's tough, grit. Right. He's defensive minded.
Right. So why not? Why not do these things? Why not embrace the 90s Knicks? Now, I'm talking about beyond a reunion. I don't care nothing about no reunion. So a bunch of old ass men walking out there with 90s Knicks jackets on, and with their number on the back. I don't care nothing about that. That's stupid.
Yeah. No, you talk about them being in the pipeline, being in the organization.
Yes. Yeah. I'm talking about them having like their own little joint in MSG. You know what I'm saying? Their own little thing where people can go and reminisce. You know what I'm saying? Or have them their own little retire somebody's number, man, for God's sake, man. I mean, come on. Pat didn't play by himself.
Or how about little things like this? Like, let's have Patrick Ewing in charge of our center development staff. Like, he develops our centers and power forwards. Like, little stuff like that is important and needed.
And like Jason said a majority of them work in the organization already. I know that. That's not what I'm saying. I understand John Starks works for the organization. And I know Sprewell does stuff part-time. And I know Allen Houston works for the organization. And I know Herb Williams worked for the organization for a long time. I don't know where he's at right now or whatever. But what I'm saying is do something special for that era. Do something special for that era, man. You know what I'm saying? I think what happened is the Rangers, the New York Rangers, messed around and won the Stanley Cup during that same era, and we had been going through the same struggles. And so now it's like, well, you can retire Messier's number, you know what I'm saying, because they won a championship and a bunch of them guys, but Pat didn't. So Pat's a Hall of Famer. So you put his name, you put his jersey up there, but everybody else, so what? I think it's unfair.
Tremendously unfair.
Yeah, man. So it's when you talk about the Knicks, if that era never existed, you would legit have 45 years of mediocre basketball. You would legit have 45 years of mediocre basketball. And I know there were some things that I'm missing, but for the sake of flow of the conversation, I just want to kind of streamline some of the stuff, because I know the Knicks come back. I know they honor Bernard King and Darryl Walker and all of that. That's not what I'm talking about. Those dudes didn't have an era. Those dudes just played. The 90s Knicks had an era, something that you can identify with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're so desperate. We're talking about Knicks tape. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about that one season of Knicks where they were actually good. People walk around with T-shirts from that season.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. When are we gonna recognize the '90s Knicks? I mean, legit recognize it in a way that's respectable, commendable. You know, I mean, people legit can't stand John Starks because of 2 of 18 in Game 7, but they legit forget that he is the only Knick during our lifetime to have a shot in the air to win a championship. John Starks. Game 6, John Starks had a shot in the air that if that shot had gone in, the conversation we had today would be totally different.
And he had a tremendous playoff run that year, by the way.
Yeah, season. I don't know if you remember, but Starks got hot like a month before the All-Star break, and he played, man. And that dude played and played. Man, the dude played his heart out, saved us in a lot of games. He was the 1A in '94. In '94, he was the 1A to Pat Ewing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And then going into the playoffs or a month before the playoffs, he gets a grade 2 MCL sprain, right? And Pat Riley tells everybody like, "Yo, I sent Jeff Van Gundy to tell Starks that we were going to leave him off the playoff roster because he was too hurt to play. We already had Hubert Davis and Rolando Blackman, and Van Gundy went to Starks to tell him, and I think Starks knew." And the look on his face was like, if these words come across Van Gundy's lips, I'm going to kill him right here in the training room. I'm going to murder Jeff Van Gundy right here in the training room. Right. And so Jeff patted him on the leg and walked out and didn't tell him.
Yeah, you tell him. But look, that season, he averaged 19, right? And let's not forget, John was a two-way player, too. John played defense. He didn't lock down nobody, but he gave an effort, and he was a pest, nonetheless.
Right.
19. Yo, the man averaged 6 assists.
Bro, I know this. I know this. He was legit a combo guard. Starks was the reason. I think Starks to this day, I believe Starks is the reason why Rod Strickland was traded. Oh, I'm sorry, not Rod Strickland, but Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson was traded.
I just imagine John with that. I think I would have made his game better.
Yeah, and then you know what? And the thing is people were like, man, Reggie Miller and Michael Jordan used to kill John Starks. For one, John Starks locked down average guards. John Starks was in my view, John Starks was a great defender, right? But the guards he had to play in the playoffs. I mean, you talking about Hall of Fame dudes. You legit talking about first ballot Hall of Famers and cats like Joe Dumars, Michael Jordan, Reggie Miller, for a dude that's 6'2" and it was barely holding on to a spot in the league. He's the reason why Gerald Wilkins wasn't re-signed. You remember Gerald Wilkins?
Which was a great move, by the way.
Yeah. 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 So, I mean...
And for the sake of nostalgia, Freezy, we could go back to this all day. But let's fast forward to right now. This is why it's so important, and in my view, of why we want to be careful of signing guys like Buddy Hield so quickly. Because we need these young guys to develop. We have to build a culture. We have to build something before we start getting these quick fixes in here and stalls our development. And then all of a sudden, now we're becoming a team. Okay, trading deadline come. Okay, now we need somebody because, now we need somebody with Buddy Hield. And I don't know, man. It just we have to understand that cultivation, proper development of organization is key. And if we don't have that, we're going to be in the same place we've been for the last 20 years.
Great point. I'm gonna say something real quick, and I want to get back on that point that you just made.
Go ahead, G.
Hey y'all, subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button. Man, the community is growing like wildfire, right? So much so that outside of our family, I get hit up by guys like other content creators for like stuff. Like I would. Hey man, look, I would show y'all some of this stuff to let y'all know that I'm not BSing around, but bro, listen, The channel is growing like wildfire. The analytics on YouTube says I hadn't checked it in the last 3 or 4 days, but basically it says that people are legit searching for the Knicks at Night podcast, and they're legit searching for Lawrence Tears. The numbers for Knicks Morning Drive aren't up there quite yet, but this is what day is this of the Knicks? This is day 3.
I think it's day 3 you have there.
Day 3, right? So this is like episode 3, and so I figured I'd do this with 10 people and get 100 views, and then by the time middle of January come around, we could grow it into something bigger. Yeah. But I did it one day, right? The next day I came back. Mm-hmm. Well, I did it one day and it was like 30 views. 30 people and like 400 something views. And the next day I came back, it was people waiting. So y'all really want this Knicks Morning Drive?
Mm-hmm. You're occupying slots that are non-existent.
Well, move. I also would like to think too that Knicks fans like to have their say heard. You know what I'm saying? Like they legit have a say, and nobody wants to hear them. Not the big boys anyway. The big boys don't want to hear Knicks fans because Knicks fans are gonna buy merch. They're gonna pay for cable. They're gonna go to these games regardless of whether they're heard or not. But they want to be heard. You know what I'm saying? And we provide this thing where they can come on and be heard.
Mm-hmm. Well,
hey, and listen, and so was my brethren, Legion of Knicks podcast. Legion of Knicks podcast. I was like, this format is dope, and I ain't gonna lie. When it comes to Legion of Knicks podcast, every time he reached for the mask, I get excited. You know what I'm saying? Every time he do like this, I'm like, hey, yeah, put it on. Yo, that is so dope. That is so dope. But the NBK fam, man, is growing by leaps and bounds, man. 2021, we're gonna have so much stuff for everybody, man. We're working on a bunch of stuff, man. It's gonna be crazy. I'm saying get the subs up on this channel so that more Knicks fans can be involved in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because if it wasn't for us trying to grow the channel, I would have never met Day A. You know what I'm saying? Coming in, bringing perspective. You know what I mean? I kind of enjoyed it, and I think y'all enjoy that too. But without us growing, we won't meet people like that. We want to meet more people. We want to continue to grow the conversation. We want the conversation to be more well-rounded and robust. You know what I'm saying? And sharper. You know what I'm saying? So that when we have these conversations, it'll be thought-provoking, and we can take something away. Because a lot of conversations, we give stuff away, but we don't necessarily get things in return. You know what I'm saying? But now with Day A, I can legit offer something and get something back. Yep. It's like we had the thought-provoking conversation and in a virtual chat.
Yep.
Kevin Wright, where you at? Oh, there go my guy. Simba Singh is in the building. What's good? Simba Singh is the mod. We have the dopest mods in the game. Simba Singh and Bodega Wi-Fi. Dopest mods in the game. Hey, we gotta get something for Simba Singh and Bodega Wi-Fi. Cause I was watching them turn away trolls last night. Yo, they were legit on them trolls last night.
Nice.
People with nothing else to do just come in and troll.
Shout out to the mods.
And Simba Singh they were on them last night. Appreciate y'all, man. Let me see here. Hey, what makes your cast fire is that it has a feel like being on the block with fellas arguing Knicks about basketball, and I miss that, and I get that feel here. Yeah,
that's what you're shooting for.
That's what this is. That's exactly
the goal.
That's what this is. Basically, we want people to come in, be respectful, at the same time be genuine. You know what I'm saying? We want to respect this base that we're growing. this family that we're growing. We want to make sure people are respectful and hear each other out, but at the same time, bring perspective to the conversation. Kind of people look forward to coming to talk and have their thoughts be heard. And then plus it's cool to have your name shouted out around the universe too.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah, Stephen Fox is in the building. Yeah, man. So getting back to the culture thing, the reason why I brought up the 90s Knicks is I feel like we need to fix the culture in the building. I think what happens is we feel like the mecca of basketball is more important than anything else.
Right.
And I feel like the people should be more important than the setting. Everybody won't agree, but I think you should have a genuine love and respect for people like Charles Oakley, who's an idiot, but we should have a love for him for what he contributed to us when he was playing. Mm-hmm. Your John Starkses, your Pat Ewing. I don't know how much love Pat gets in the Garden. I mean,
it doesn't seem like much. Anthony Mason's another one too.
Yeah, Mason's another one. Mace is definitely, and everybody knows Mace was a revolutionary. Like Mace helped revolutionize the game. Like without Mace, is there a Draymond Green? Or let me do the lineage. Without Mace, is there a Boris Diaw? You know what I'm saying? A player in that pinch post that can pass, had guard skills in the pinch post,
that can rebound and bring the ball up and start your transition. Hell yeah.
Right. That can defend, force a bad shot, go get the rebound, and then push it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you look at the lineage, is Mason, Boris Diaw, Draymond Green. I mean,
but Mason and Barkley were the only two at that time that I can think of that were playing in that fashion, at that position.
Yeah.
And where's the homage?
None. I don't see.
So it's so important, man. Culture.
Right. Well,
think about it, man. Who have we been besides being on the losing column as far as identity, style of play, what our organization represents? Who have we been in the last 20 years? Nothing. We haven't had an identity. We don't know if we're an up-tempo offensive team. We don't know if we hang our heads defensively. We don't know if we're a player development. We don't know what the hell we are.
Right.
That's going to change with Thibodeau.
I hope so. But I heard the same thing about things going to change with Larry Brown.
We all thought it would too. Let's not lie to ourselves.
So I was hoping that Tibbs could be different from Larry Brown, but I'm getting those same vibes that I got when Larry Brown took over the head coaching job. I'm getting the same vibes.
I think the difference is that I think Thibodeau has a much stronger coaching staff, and he has a much stronger front office behind him than what Larry Brown had. And that matters. Right.
Yo, so Kevin McLeod said, put the link up. Hey, Kev, if you talking about coming here and talking about some Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to boot you out this thing. You hear me? Hey, Kevin McLeod, you hear me? I called him by his government name, too, like I was putting him on punishment. Hey, come on, Kev. Hey, Phil Jackson did mess up. Phil Jackson messed up a lot of stuff. So the oh, here come Kev. Kev, you better have, if you got Pittsburgh Steelers stuff on, you ain't coming in here. You better take that stuff. You ain't coming in here with no Pittsburgh Steelers stuff on. Bragging.
I believe Phil Jackson had a plan.
Hey, man, I'm not bragging at all, man. Come on, man. I'm not one of these Dallas Cowboy fans, that likes to push their chests out, man. We being content. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
I'm being content. I'm being content. Come on, Freeze. When have I ever bragged, man? You know me as a Steelers fan. I've never bragged. And I was champion.
I'm gonna just say this, man. Hey, for one, your team is doing pretty good. But two, I'm glad to have you on, man, with us for Knicks Morning Drive, because you do offer on other joints we be on. Kev offers a lot of good perspective. Some of it is you wonder if he's got a Frank Ntilikina tattoo on his heart, and then other times it's like he's super sharp. He's super sharp with his thoughts and stuff. But in terms of his Frank Ntilikina takes, I swear I believe this dude has a Frank Ntilikina tattoo on his heart.
I'm the president, man. You know why I'm the president? You know the reason why I'm the president? Because he's the only player that I've seen within the last maybe 5 to 7 years that's getting really
barbecued.
Yeah, barbecue. I won't even say barbecue. I think they just throwing him in the fire and just toasting him pretty much. And it's not
Even the scapegoat.
Right. And it's not really, I mean, half of it is his fault, but then half of it I think deals with the with the management and the coaching as well. I will agree that we should have took in his draft. I believe we should have taken Donovan Mitchell. I'm be the first to say that.
The world agrees with you on that,
right.
By the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey Kev, let me ask you this. Hey, did you thought I was doing something to you on Twitter?
No, you wasn't answering me, man.
No, I was at work. My hours at work got flip-flopped.
Yeah, and I wanted to get the when I subscribed to the channel, to your channel, I wasn't getting the notifications, even though I hit I wasn't getting the notification. So I never know when you're on, because I mean, I get it when our boy is on, Sim is on, but I don't get it when you're on. And I just really wanted to give my input on a lot of stuff that was going on. And of course,
I was wanting you on because the thing about this is like we legit do the show and turn the mics on.
Right.
But it's not about like Uncle Freezy's takes. Like I just legit turn it on and let everybody go for what they know.
Right.
Yeah,
that's cool. And from the ones that I've seen, you're doing a fabulous job, with this, having everybody's, opinions on the screen and everything, and in the comments and all like that. You're doing your thing, man, and I got to give you credit for that. And I'm just upset that I didn't get on there, on there sooner. So,
you mean when I call Frank Ntilikina 6'4" oldest thought?
Me and you, for this year, we go, way back and everything. The one that I really wanted to attack, was Chuck. That's the one that I wanted to get my hands on, and be really? Wow. I mean, he just that right there is what I was talking about with the bashing and trashing of the of this kid. And no one is really, in my opinion, I think, looking at the whole picture. All they see is Frank's game. And Frank is not the most prolific scorer, there is in the game. But he does other things to kind of offset that. Like, for instance, in your point guard, what do you want your point guard to do? What's your main point?
Pass the ball.
What I would like my point guard to do is be a floor general. Keep our offense in good position to get good shots. We don't want bad shots deep in the shot clock by players that have not practiced those shots. Like, we don't want Julius Randle taking step back threes, or we don't want Mitchell Robinson being forced to take 13 footers on the baseline. We don't want that. If you're not good at it, we don't want it. And so what I'm saying about a floor general is you get a floor general to orchestrate your offense and keep guys. And for instance, For instance, we know Kevin Knox is best shooting his three off the wing, not at the top of the key. So
Absolutely.
we want to make sure when Kevin Knox catches that pass for his three, that it's in one of his sweet spots.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. We don't want Kevin Knox to look at the clock and there's 5 seconds left, and then he has to drive the lane and throw an off balance floater at the rim. We don't want that. That's a bad shot.
Yeah, I totally.
So now does Frank fit that criteria now?
No.
Yeah.
I say he does. There are things that I would love for him to improve on as far as setting up, as you say. Like I want him to, when he's on that fast break, when he gets the steal and gets in that fast break, I want him to push that tempo up. I really do. I want him to set up the offense sooner in the shot clock than doing it late. I want those things.
Okay.
And I feel as though with this coach, see, a lot of people aren't giving this coaching staff, it's respect, as they say. Past times, yeah, most definite. Fizdale had a stupid coaching staff. Hornacek had a stupid coaching staff. Mike Miller, even though it was a leftover from what Fizdale had, I think he was the only one that was, pushing that, and had a competent staff. And there's no telling what would have happened. Two things: there's no telling what would happen if Mike Miller was the coach for the whole season, or what would have happened if the pandemic, never took place.
I think Mike Miller showed that he was playing it safe, and he was playing a lot of vets, a lot of minutes.
Right.
And that's not the direction we wanted.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Correct. But what I'm saying is, from the contrast from when he was coaching Frank to everybody else, I think he got a little bit more out of Frank than anybody else did.
Agreed.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. But you are totally right about he should have played his young crew more. Like he should have had Alonzo Trier in. He should have had
Damian Dotson.
Free dot. He should have had him in, and he probably would have stayed if he didn't if he kept him on the bench. I forget what time that it was, because he was favoring him a little bit until he got hurt, and then he just went away from him completely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Well, look. Here's the good news since you love Frank so much. Tom Thibodeau loves Frank too. He just said it yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
He said he loves what he brings defensively. Okay,
right.
He loves how you can guard different positions, stuff like that. So that told me automatically Frank is already looking at 20 to 25 minutes, which is good for him.
Right.
He needs that every night, consistent. Good for him.
Absolutely. Now let me ask you this: people keep saying that he got 20 minutes a game these past 3 years. Would you say that was sparingly?
That was not a consistent 20, 25 minutes.
Yes.
It wasn't like Frank knew he was coming off the bench every night and he knew his role and that's not what was happening.
Right.
It was games he wouldn't even play.
Exactly. You remember the first game last year when we went out to San Antonio, and he had two turnovers, and then Fizdale took him out and he didn't see the game, the whole time.
Right.
And he wasn't in for when we played Brooklyn and we lost by a last second shot, or against Boston as well.
Yeah.
All those were unfortunately on RJ Barrett, which I thought was, I know you want to throw him into the fire, but I think in those moments Frank should have been on there. And the only solace that I would say, Frank, kind of screwed up was the game against Charlotte when who's the guy that's playing opposite Rozier?
Devontae Graham.
Yeah, when he hit that last shot, on us at the Garden, and then they won that. I think that's the only time. But all the other times he was either not playing or playing, not many minutes, and giving that all to, and those minutes were going all to Alfred Payton, pretty much. And I'll tell you, I was an Alfred Payton fan, But in this year, I was really upset that the two game man playing between him and Randall, that kind of, got
it was discouraging.
Yeah, that
absolutely.
got me upset and everything. So
yeah.
So yeah, like you said, it's encouraging that Thibodeau is seeing what he has, in Frank, and hopefully that will enable him, to play him more and everything.
Right.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
I mean, you got to put Knox in the same conversation too, because Knox has in the same as Frank,
right,
has not known his role. He doesn't know when he's going into the game.
Yeah,
and then when they try to run things around him like Frank, certain plays break down, and where you have them on the court is not utilized because everybody's on a different agenda. Because Fizdale and I'll accuse Mike Miller of this stuff too. Nobody knew how our options were running on offense. If play A broke down here, we got to get to the B part of the play, or the B. Like it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
They got into one-on-one basketball or a two-man game that it was so predictable that what I mean. So
you're totally right. You're totally right. Here's the thing with Knox. So we draft Knox, and Fizdale puts him in the starting lineup, and he gets hurt, unfortunately, and then has to come back. But through that whole year, he was in the starting lineup. And so after that year, we're taking our lumps and saying, all right, well, we're going to have a high draft pick, and we just got to build. And we're thinking that the draft pick and Knox, along with Mitchell and even Trier, that they're going to be our base, our foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we strike out on Durant, we strike out on Kyrie,
mm-hmm.
we strike out on Kawhi, we strike out on many of them. So management is left with giving these 1-year contracts and then signing Randall. Didn't have a problem with Randall. Did not have a problem at all. In fact, I was, welcoming that. So I figured that it would be Randall part of that starting lineup, along with Knox at the small forward, which I had no problem with at all.
Mm-hmm.
The minute that they got Morris, I said, "Oh, he's not going to get that starting role," and that was probably Knox's mentality, that he was going to get the starting role even with Randall here, that he was still going to get it.
Right.
Once Morris came, I could tell his mentality, totally changed. Like, oh, I might be in danger of not getting it, which he didn't. And then Fizdale, last year was just such a cluster, a mind-blowing thing, Knox doesn't get the proper defensive principles, which then turns his game, to having low production. And also the fans started, getting on him as well. So I just last year was just a total, it was just abysmal for him. And I felt bad for him and everything, because he had such a promising first year. And then it goes from scoring 20 having double digits. How many points did he average his first year?
12.4.
12.4 to now coming down to single digits his second year. Usually you go up. Usually you go up. You go up from your rookie year to increasing that. And that didn't happen with him. So I'm hoping with this, which I believe it will have stability at the head coaching position, because Thibodeau got, how many years did Thibodeau get? Did he get
he got 5.
5 years. That's going to be stable. His coaching staff is going to be stable now. And that hopefully that should, erase what happened,
And that's why I'm willing to give the kids a pass.
Right.
And this year is due, it's due, because if not, then and it is unfortunate for them, and it's unfair that they only have one season to put up or shut up. But unfortunately, the organization put them in that situation in order to do it. So,
exactly.
So, but I'm willing to give them a pass on that because of this, the dysfunctionality from top to bottom, and the couple of years that they were here. But this is the year they got to show up.
They have to show up. As much as I defend Frank, I know that if he's not doing it in practice, and Tibbs is really huge on practice. If he's not doing it in practice, it's not gonna feed over to the game.
Frank is not in the plans, man.
He is in the plans. Thibodeau just said it.
Tom spoke very high of him yesterday. Crazy.
No. Listen to what he's asked, and then listen to his answers.
Okay, go ahead.
They were like legit like. So where does Frank Ntilikina fall on the point guard depth chart? Thibodeau says Frank Ntilikina is a really nice guy. We love his defensive flexibility.
Yeah, exactly. So what is that telling you?
Listen to the question.
Okay.
Where does Frank fall on the point guard depth chart? And my man says Frank is a really nice guy. Yeah. We love his defensive flexibility.
Yeah. But Freezy, but we didn't want Frank as our point guard anyway. So
and the other thing, Freezy, is I don't believe, this is my opinion, I don't believe a head coach will come out and with this point guard competition, I don't believe a coach will come out and just put players on the spot. They'll talk good about them, but they won't say, like for instance, like Elfrid Payton's our starter and DSJ is going to be our, whatever, or Frank's going to be whatever. I think right now we won't know that. We'll get a feel come Friday of who starts.
Kev, I'm here to tell you that Frank may not make this roster.
Yes, he did.
How will Frank not?
Frank's not going to make the roster.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
No, Freezy.
Nah,
he's making a roster.
Okay. All right. So if you can bring,
and the other thing also, Freeze, I mean to cut you off. The other thing also is that he's in his last year, so he is guaranteed for this this year. He's got to sign his extension and all like that. So what you're saying is he'll be traded. He's got to sign his qualifying offer first before he can be traded.
No, first of all, the qualifying offer has to be tendered to him. Right,
which he has to agree.
They don't have to offer him a qualifying offer. They could just let him walk in free agency.
Well, not for this year.
Not for this year. I'm talking about for next year.
Yeah, for next year they can let him walk, but they still have to give him something this year.
No, he's under contract for this year already.
Right. So how is he going to? How is he not going to make the team then? If he's already under contract, how is he not going to make the team?
They can cut him.
No, they won't cut him.
They're not going to cut him, Freezy.
Yeah, and so here's the reason. Here's my reason to it. So here's my reason. He's got 1 year left at $6.5 million. Right. The only thing Frank Ntilikina brings to the table is defense. He doesn't bring 3-point shooting. He doesn't bring playmaking. He doesn't bring rebounding. He doesn't even bring steals and blocks to the table. Right. The only thing he brings is on-ball defense. And you signed Austin Rivers. Who is just as good a defender as Frank is right now. And we have data to support it.
But you're saying that he's not going to make the team.
Right.
That's what you're saying. So you're saying that DSJ, Elfrid Payton, even Miles Powell, that Frank is not going to make the team?
No. What I'm saying is there's a chance. I'm saying his spot is not secured. I'm saying if Frank goes into camp and gets outplayed, he's not guaranteed to be on that roster because it's not like he's got 3 years left at 18 mil. He's got 1 year left at $6.5 mil.
He's going to be on the roster.
Freezy, listen. Thibodeau preaches defense, and Frank Ntilikina is our best all-ball defender that could play multiple positions. You don't think he's going to get minutes?
Again, we have data, and we've talked about it on the Knicks at Night podcast, where Austin Rivers has better defensive metrics against elite scorers than Frank Ntilikina.
But
we broke it down.
Austin Rivers has also okay. I
We
just
broke
want
it
to
down
bring this
shot
point.
for shot.
Austin Rivers has had better defensive structured systems than Frank.
Yeah, again,
It's team defense.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Austin. Wait, hold on a second. Okay. Austin is a decent on-ball defender, but you got to admit, Freezy, between the Clippers and the Rockets, they were better defensive systems structured around Austin Rivers than what Frank has had in the past 3 years. Can you agree to that?
Facts.
I would say that's a huge stretch for a Franker. I'm assuming that Day A is a Franker.
Nope.
You know, I'm assuming that he paid his membership this month for the Frank Ntilikina fan club.
He's not a Franker. He's not a Franker, but the eye test will tell you.
No, man. Frank got a lot of work to do. So for that,
a
Frank
lot of work to do. But
when I will give people the benefit of the doubt, and I will put people in proper context and perspective, and say that Frank has had, and that goes for Knox too, this terrible defensive structure systems, the rotations. You know what I mean? Like when you get beat, you have Julius Randle there just looking at dudes, just breeze past him on the paint and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like this is the first time in a while that we've actually have the potential to have a good defensive system structured. So I'm saying, this is what I'm saying, Freezy. This is my point. We can't judge these guys like that yet. We have to see them under the right context before we say, you know what, Frank, you're done. You know what? Now you were a bust at night.
I understand what you're saying. You're saying is statistics can't be linear because you can't just look at statistics in a vacuum and assume that one player is better than the other based on statistics, right?
They tell a story.
Statistics tell a story. Like the Frank Ntilikina shooting 50% from three and from corner threes. That tells a story. Right,
but with a small sample size, though.
Right, but Frank Ntilikina hits a corner three every 3 games.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I understand what you're saying. Hey, Christopher M says Steph Curry averages more steals than Frank. Is Steph a better defender than Frank? Freezy is on crack. Hey man, first of all, I'm not on crack. I lost a lot of weight. I lost 168 pounds. I'm sorry, 162 pounds. But it wasn't from smoking crack.
Oh, man.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you, man. I got the loose skin here to prove it. You know what I'm saying? but it wasn't from smoking crack though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's from that was from discipline. Now the thing about Frank is I think we're so in love with the Frank Ntilikina story that we reach for every possible straw to defend Frank to the last.
But here's the problem.
That's not me, though.
Yeah, Freezy, here's the problem. I only defend Frank because so many bash him. Again, I've never seen a player bash a player of his own fan base so much than what we do with than what we do here. I mean, everybody, you should hear trash. He's garbage. He's everything under the sun. And again, we're not looking at the optics of of some of his shortcomings. We had a bad coaching staff for 3 years. We had a bad. Well, we had more, but in his case, Hornacek didn't. Hornacek in his quote unquote development didn't help, and we know what Fizdale did,
or didn't do.
So when I'm defending him, I also know that this is the last hurrah for him to show us what he actually is. With Thibodeau, with Mike Woodson, with Bryant, with I didn't say his name right, Bryant from Utah, the assistant coach.
Johnny Bryant.
With him, this is it. This is it for him. If he can't prove it with this crew, then I'm all with you.
You know what? And this is where people come from too. And let's be honest with each other. If we're in the drafted seat and we're the GM and we're drafting, are we taking Frank Ntilikina in that draft? Yeah. Good. Yeah. Right. Now, in that draft, another draft, are we taking Kevin Knox?
Well, here's the thing with that.
I'm just saying, would you take him?
Well, wait. I'm sorry. Ask your question again.
My question was that if we're in the GMC, if we're the president of basketball operations, and we're deciding, right, and that draft with Kevin Knox, are we taking Kevin at 9?
Well, I'm gonna go back to the Frank one. I would Elvis, no. We would not, because but then on the same token with that draft, all of us know that we would have taken Donovan Mitchell. I didn't know Donovan Mitchell was going to be who he is. And the thing about that also was
Utah did.
Yeah, exactly. And who did Leon Rose get?
I know. Well, parent.
But we say Utah would have taken Donovan Mitchell, but we have to look at it from a transcending perspective. You know what I'm saying? In the transcending perspective, we look at the draft and say, hell yeah, we would have took De'Aaron Fox if he was there for us. You know what I'm saying? We would have took De'Aaron Fox over Frank Ntilikina. But at the same time, with names coming off the board, it's easy for Utah to take Donovan Mitchell. But if you know what I'm saying, if they were in our spot, do we think Utah would have taken Donovan Mitchell at 8?
Right.
I don't know.
That's a good point, Freezy.
They may have taken Dennis Smith Jr.
That's
you know what I'm saying? So we rush to give Utah credit, but we have to look at the selection process. Like there were less players available for them to pick, so they picked Donovan Mitchell out of the group of players that out of the pool that was left, and now they look like geniuses. You know what I'm saying? But if they were picking, but if they were picking where Chicago was picking, would they pick Donovan Mitchell or Lauri Markkanen? You know what I'm saying? It's like all these things you have to kind of look at.
Okay, so 2 points. I asked the question about Frank because that's a lot of the people's plight, is that they would have never taken Frank. And now we're stuck with this, and now he's put up these type of numbers, and he's hesitant, and blah, 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 blah. Now, the other point, too, of Freezy, is that you're right about if Utah had a higher draft pick, they probably would have not taken Donovan. But they still took Donovan.
Josh Jackson.
Josh
Jackson was a bust.
Yeah, and just to let you know, just real quick, somebody in the chat talked about Perry. Perry wasn't on board. Phil Jackson was still on board, so there's no telling who Perry would have went with either. When you think about it,
you mean Perrin? Well, Perrin?
No. I mean, when Frank was picked, that was Phil Jackson's pick. Scott Perry wasn't on board yet.
Oh, Scott, yeah. Scott wasn't there yet.
Yeah. So there's no telling who Perry would have who he would have picked, and he probably would have went the direction of DSJ or last name was Monk, right? Monk
was high on that. He was around that area.
Yeah, he was around that area and everything. So he might have went that way. That was all Frank's pick. But the other thing about it also is that it's amazing how Frank being here, that he was, even though he was mentioned in trades, that he never went, because he probably could have went in that Porzingis trade as well. We don't know. We don't know. But it says that the organization does value a little bit of who Frank is now. I mean, who he is, and with Tibbs and his coaching staff, I think it'll bring out his potential even more.
We hope so.
We hope so. Because again, if it doesn't, I have no problem with letting him go. I don't have a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also got to give the same thing to DSJ, because honestly, I had DSJ slotted as the starting point last year. I had him slotted as a starting point, and then Frank backing him up. Alfred Payton wasn't even in my mind. I just figured, oh great, we got him and everything. But still, DSJ was going to, I had DSJ as our starter, and we saw how that, just totally, messed up.
I think our starting point guard is going to come down to the last minute, because as Thibodeau hasn't even named them by name yet. He still refers to them as the PGs. So that tells me a lot. And that tells me that that's going to be thoroughly evaluated, possibly to the last second. So we might see different guys starting during the preseason. We might see a game where Frank starts. We might see a game where DSJ starts. We might see a game where Peyton starts, because I think that might be the last decision to be made.
Well, here's the thing about that. We have 4 preseason games, and both of them are against like the same team. Mm-hmm. We're going to be at Detroit, and then we're going to be at home for Cleveland.
Yeah.
So if he goes that route with trying to see who's what, I don't know how it's going to work. All I know is that the last preseason, it has to be the person that's actually going to start for the season, so that there's no confusion or anything like that. I don't want to be like when Larry Brown was coaching. Freeze, you mentioned this before. I don't want to be like when Larry Brown was coaching, and every game almost we had a different starting. But we had different starters.
Right.
You remember that? I don't want that to happen, because you need that familiarity. And Fizdale was trying to get
chemistry. Chemistry.
Yes. Remember last year when Fizdale tried to put Kevin Knox at the 2? How did that work?
But I think, and I think with more time, I think if we had a regular training camp and a regular preseason, you might see more to what you're saying.
Right.
And I think that would happen eventually. But since we're on such a small time clock, it's preseason is also tryouts. As far as who's going to be starting, who's coming off the bench, and how the rotation is going to work.
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah, exactly. Who knows? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that's why I think we're going to see different point guards in the preseason, because we got to see who messes with who, and we got to see it quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, who knows? Somebody owe you a Knicks fan channel. He said, y'all sleeping, but don't forget about Quickly. So him and freaking Miles Powell, they might shut,
Yeah, but they're not point guards though.
But they can be.
I think Frank DSJ and what's his name, and Peyton are way ahead of the curve.
Okay.
And Quickly and Powell as far as running the point guard. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Quickly didn't even run the point guard in Kentucky. Higgins was running the point guard.
Powell did at Seton Hall.
He was a gunner, but he wasn't set up. He wasn't breaking down the defense, putting guys in position. He wasn't setting up your offense. He was coming off screens and stuff of that nature, or isolated. Yeah. So I don't see that happening.
You're right.
Yeah, I think that the Quickly thing we'll have to see, because they didn't when Ashton Hagen struggled at Kentucky, they let Tyrese Maxey do more ball handling. And Emmanuel Quickly stayed in his position.
Correct.
So the thing with Quickly is we're not sleeping on him. He just has to prove it to us.
He has to prove it to us.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like during these tryouts, like you said, it might happen that they see something in Quickly that we haven't seen and everything.
And Freezy, that add on to your point real quick about Quickly. Yeah, right now he is a 3-and-D guy. Right now, if he comes off the bench and he plays, he's going to be asked to play defense, because Quickly is a good on-ball defender. So he's going to be asked to do that, and his catch and shoot numbers are fantastic. His off the screen jump shooting in college was not that great. I think he shot under 35%. Off screens, so he's going to be asked to sit in the corner on the wing, and that's going to be his job for now.
The spot up shooting thing, right?
Yeah,
but NBA shooting coaches will work with him quickly. I think he'll. There's a plan quickly. But anyway, I think the thing with Quickly is that'll be adjusted in one season. All it takes is the settling down of your shot base. You know what I'm saying? Spot up shooters already, when they catch the ball, they have a settled shot base. And guys that catch on the move, they have to catch the ball, then settle their shot base and take the shot. You know what I'm saying? So a shooting coach will fix that probably. You'll probably see improvement towards the end of the season, and then by the time next season rolls around, you'll see the gap between spot up and movement will close some.
And he was really good too at attacking the closeout and getting into like a step back or getting into like a 1 to 2 dribble pull up. He was really good at that too. So he has a skill set, and that's why I'm saying I don't see why he didn't get minutes, especially in preseason and to start the season.
Let me ask you a question: how many minutes did Booker get when he was at Kentucky?
He came off the bench.
Started first, right?
He came off the bench.
Right. And then all of a sudden becomes a star once he gets here and everything. And I forget who was on the team with him in his first rookie season and everything, but he got the minutes. The coaching staff trusted him. I don't even remember how many coaches he's been through in his
he's been through a lot of coaches too.
Yes,
he had Earl Watson,
that dude from Russia or something like that.
Yeah. Luke, the dude that coached Luka.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And Monty Williams.
Monty Williams now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Monty Williams now, right? Yeah. So.
And he didn't even start his first season. He hardly played his first 2 seasons. He only started playing because dudes was injured, and he had to play.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But you see how he blossomed. I guess what I'm getting at is you don't know what a player is going to be like. Though he's come, even from college to now. I mean, you look at another player, Mikal Bridges. Now, it was a choice between him and Knox, and of course, we went with Knox. But I think it's fair to say that right now, Bridges has had a better pro pro career than Knox has, because
absolutely.
I think yeah. And,
I wanted him, to be honest.
Right? Yeah. And it's amazing how one-on-one game could decide, if that's who we're going with everything.
And so I'm gonna say this about Kevin Knox, and I know the chat is gonna go crazy and eat me up. So the thing about Kevin Knox, in my opinion, is this. I think if Fizdale hadn't beat Kevin Knox down like an old country dog, Kevin Knox would be on his way to in his ascension would be very good NBA player. I'm not going to say borderline all-star. I'm just going to say very, very good NBA player, maybe about 17 points per game. With Fizdale, the first season, all he did was ride Knox like a old country mule. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You saw it. I remember one time
he played him 30 minutes.
Yeah, I saw one timeout where Knox had missed an assignment, and in a timeout, he pointed him over and said, "Come here. Why did you miss this?" And then Knox like, yeah, I know and everything. So yeah, Freezy, you're definitely right on on that.
And I keep pointing to that Boston Celtics game where you had a second year Jason Tatum struggling and a first year Kevin Knox struggling, and one coach takes their baby star and coddles him like, "Hey man, remember you the future. You missing these shots, but we're gonna get you back into a rhythm. Yeah. Every dead ball timeout, out of bounds, every dead ball, I'm gonna draw up a play for you to get an open look, right?" Mm-hmm. And the other coach is cussing out his rookie like he stole a pirate's treasure. You know what I'm saying? And then people are like, "Well, Kevin Knox his motor is low, his confidence is taken." Really? I wonder why. I wonder what could be the cause of that.
Facts. I didn't really think that. I really, if you don't have
one guy legit. Think about it, one guy legit averaged 14 points per game in his rookie year, right? Or 15, something like that.
Cool.
And the arrow was pointing up, right? And then the other guy averaged 12.4. He was averaging more, less than that, but got hot at the end of his rookie year, right? And so instead of embracing what you have, right? Instead of embracing what you have, you go out and sign 52 guys that played in my man's position. You cuss them out every chance you get, and then you wonder why, and then you wonder why the dude is trending down.
And I forgot about Portis. We brought Portis aboard too. He's another one.
Yeah.
He's another one.
So everybody you brought in could play Knox's position. Even Reggie Bullock. Can take some minutes at the moment.
Forgot about Reggie.
That's what I'm saying. So now when you take into account all these things, you look at Knox like everything is Knox's fault. Like you legit put hindrances and obstacles in his way, right? But then didn't even give him a support staff to help him and Frank and DSJ and everybody else, like a coaching staff behind them to practice with them off the floor, off the game floor.
Yes,
like they legit watching tape. They don't even know what they're looking at.
Right. Okay, so Freezy, I'm going to ask you a question because it was brought up in the chat. We know what Tibbs is like. Do you see Tibbs doing the same thing to Knox, on the defensive end, like we saw with Fizdale? Because Tibbs ain't no joker. He won't, spare no expense either with, chewing a guy out. Do you see that? Do you see that?
Yes, I think Thibodeau is See, here's the difference. Thibodeau will cuss Knox out like a, beat him up like a scalded dog. But then you got Mike Woodson to be like, "Hey man, Rook, come here.
Right?
Let me holler at you. Let me holler at you. Coach was frustrated with you because in the heat of battle, you let the team down because you did such and such and such and such. Let me send you over to Coach Kenny so he can improve on that stuff." Right?
That wasn't available before.
So now you get a guy, you pull Knox right at the fire, straight to somebody that's gonna stroke his confidence. Like, hey man, listen, you the future. Don't get this the wrong way. Coach is the general. He the captain of the ship. So he got to make sure the ship stay in line. So he pulled you out the fire, you know what I'm saying? So to save the ship. And then Woodson's gonna send him to Kenny Payne, and Kenny Payne is gonna be like, hey man, listen. This is what you do in these situations, right? And then he's like, well, how do I recognize these situations? Hey, so here's Dice. Go to Coach Dice. Coach Dice is gonna break down this film for you and email you this clip for you to watch when you get on the bus or when you get home or whatever. Yeah. So but before Fizdale would cuss him out and put him on the bench, and my man wouldn't even know what's going on.
And he had no support. Support. To give him that guy.
Y'all brought up a good point, and check this out. How valuable is Kenny Payne to us? Have you seen what Kentucky looks like? They look like a mess. No, seriously. No, they look like a mess. And the first thing I thought was, we have Kenny Payne. Wow, that's why this is possibly looking this way. No, because it didn't look that way.
Yeah, brother.
Now with the players they have.
Yeah, you're right.
And so I know, and my thing is I look at this thing differently than other brothers like Legion of the Knicks podcast always says that a player has to, and I guess it goes to people too, but people need to have self-recognition and agency over themselves, like how to govern themselves and recognize certain things. But I think in this case, in the case with the Knicks, Frank Ntilikina never had a point guard coach, right? Never. So when you talk about Frank, you're like, why didn't Frank recognize that he's supposed to drive the paint right here? Well, Frank didn't play AAU, right? Frank didn't play AAU basketball. You know what I'm saying? You're used to coaching cats that played AAU. They come up in a certain style, right? But the international style is different. The international style is let everybody touch the ball. You know what I'm saying? Yep. That way everybody will play for each other. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference. I believe right now, if we keep Frank, and I know I joke about Frank. I know I call Frank a 6'4" Tree Rollins, right? But
It's messed up, Fraser.
I know. I'm trolling you. I'm trolling y'all. But the thing is with Frank is the same situation where Frank didn't attack on offense and Thibodeau cuss him out. Mike Woodson's gonna be like, hey man, hey Frank, listen, we can't have these possessions where the lane is wide open and you don't drive and attack the basket strong, or you don't recognize the weak side defender is collapsing, so you can throw that bounce pass to Kevin Knox cutting from the corner. You know what I'm saying? So Frank was like, I didn't even see that. Where was Knox? He's like, hey, go talk to Johnny Bryant. Coach Bryant is gonna talk to you about these things.
Right, and how to handle that.
It's structure. Yeah. Just like I'm saying, it's structure. We didn't have this. We didn't have this.
Yeah.
Right. And so my fear is with Frank is that it might be too late. I don't have the same fear with Knox because Knox has another year.
Well, that's
Frank is only 22 though, Freezy.
No, but I'm talking about in terms of his contract. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Are the Knicks going to bring Frank back?
We're going to see. But here's the other thing, Freeze. Here's the other thing. As much as I want to keep Frank here, I have to really, and I know you were down on management a little bit because you didn't know if because we've seen this before. They're saying all the right thing. Well, Liam Rose isn't saying anything, but I have to trust their decision because after what happened during the draft and then not throwing money at anybody for free agency, I have got to put my trust in them. They must know what else is going on. They know what they're doing, and I just got to put my trust in them. The fear for me is if Frank is on another team and he develops better than what we've done for him, and he just becomes a demon on the floor. When I mean a demon, I mean as far as defense and as far as putting up more shots than what he did over here. That's my
so this is my thing, man. I think Frank is going to be Bruce Bowen. Right,
and that's all right.
That's a good career,
and that's all right. That's a great career.
Right, but hear me out on it. Hear me out on it though. So I think Frank is going to be Bruce Bowen. I don't think he's going to be Tony Allen because I don't think the athleticism is there. Like Tony Allen was legit. Maybe top 30.
I'm gonna put him there with Tony Allen. I'm gonna put him up there with Tony Allen because there were a few times last year where I saw him try to oof it on a couple of people. He didn't get it. But he almost did, and I was like, okay.
well, at least with Bruce Bowen, though, you're talking about size comp, length comp, defense comp, corner three comp. You know what I'm saying with Bruce Bowen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying with Tony Allen was a superb athlete before he tore his ACL with the Celtics.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying. But my point to Tony Allen, Bruce Bowen, and Frank is Tony Allen and Bruce Bowen didn't hit their stride until they turned 25. Frank is 22. Right. Are we going to be patient enough to wait until Frank turns 25 to turn into Bruce Bowen? Because Bruce Bowen spent his first years in Miami. Tony Allen spent his first few years in Boston. Mm-hmm. They turned into the players that their reputation was staked on for their second team. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing with Frank. You know what I'm saying? Are we going to be patient enough with Frank to allow him to develop into Bruce Bowen on our team? Because
it depends how this year goes, Freezy.
Yeah, it depends on how this. Yeah,
I can see. I'm gonna tell you this, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I can see Frank going somewhere like the Portland Trailblazers and developing into their Bruce Bowen and turn them into a championship contender. Because McCollum doesn't play D, and Dame is allergic to defense. You know what I'm saying? Or you can see a Frank going to a place like somebody just on the verge, Denver Nuggets, somebody just about to turn the corner, and all they need is a defensive guy that can be a tertiary playmaker, but their defensive stopper for dudes anywhere from 6 foot to 6'8".
I'll give you I'll give you Indiana.
Mm.
I'll give you Indiana. Even though I think they did what's the name dirty, the head coach there. I thought they did him dirty, but you know.
They did. Yeah, they sure did.
Yeah, they did him dirty, but I can see him going there. I don't know if I want to.
You know what? I could see Frank going to Atlanta. I could see Frank signing with the Atlanta Hawks and being the complement to a Trae Young, and because they need a defensive guard there.
Yeah, and here's the thing with that: how many times did he torch Trae Young? Trae Young didn't get his shots off him, not at all. He may have gotten points off, but he didn't get them off Frank.
Right. Right, and so my point to it is not the fact that Frank leaves this team and go join another team. My point is I'm already calling Frank, a 6'4" Herb Williams, right? Mm. And he's 22. Are we gonna be patient enough with Frank to wait 3 more years until he gets into his bag?
Well, it probably might not take 3 or more.
Right. I was just going to say that.
Underneath this coaching staff, again, people are giving this coaching staff very little respect. They're giving them very little
everybody's
respect.
talking about how we didn't get people in free agency and stuff of that nature, but what we did was that we got a very potent coaching staff. That is probably one of the better ones in the league, assembled from top to bottom. Yes. That's what we really got.
Yeah, I think the only one that's probably matched up with us, because they were saying it yesterday, probably the only one right now is the Clippers, because they got I forget their head coach, but they got Kenny Atkins, they got some other people too. When they were calling them off, I was like, oh yeah, all right.
So Legion of Knicks podcast is trolling me in the chat. I'm not saying that I dislike Frank or I like Frank. What I'm saying is right now, Frank Ntilikina is a 6'4" Otis. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Right now, I don't like Frank's game. I like Frank as a person. I just don't like his game. And then plus, I was a Franker, but I escaped with my life and dignity. You know what I'm saying? I was a Franker at first. You know what I'm saying? But I was able to escape the compound and hitch a ride I was able to hitch a ride with it on the back of a truck and then and run for my life. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool, man.
You know what I'm saying? The thing is with Frank is I recognize who he is right now, and probably not ever will Frank be a legit starting point guard in the NBA. But I do believe that Frank at some point will develop into a Bruce Bowen, Tony Allen hybrid, but in 2 or 3 years, not today. Not today. I think his defense is overrated, and I think his what he brings on offense is overrated. You know what I'm saying? I think at some point though,
I disagree with the overrated part on the defensive end. I disagree with that. Yeah, I don't. He may not get many steals, but he does impact
or blocks.
Or blocks. Oh, come on,
or
man.
Deflections.
Whatever.
Well, people get on that, Kev. People get on that, Kev, because of his metrics, because of his wingspan. So they're like, right. Why doesn't he have more steals? Why doesn't he have more deflections? But one thing that Frank does do well, though, is that Frank does sit in a defensive position well. And he does make you go a certain way and make you pick up the ball well. Exactly. He does do that.
Exactly. I mean, what he did to Luka, he
didn't shut him down.
Yeah. Huh?
I said he didn't shut him down or nothing.
He didn't shut him down per se, but he wasn't on him the entire game.
Okay.
When he was on him, Luka found it, really difficult to score over him. Mm-hmm. I keep going back to the Houston game. He did make Westbrook take a difficult shot. Yeah, it hit the front of the rim, but he probably hits that over.
And where is Legion of the Knicks podcast? I keep putting the link in the chat for Legion of the Knicks podcast.
Hey guys, I got a meeting. But I want to do this again, man, because this was fun. This was a lot of fun. So,
Kev, you can't go, man.
I got to. You got to put it. You got to let me know. You've got to let me know when you're going on again. This was by chance that I got this on.
So the times that we're on. So the Knicks morning drive is usually at 8 a.m. I had a conflict on the schedule. So I couldn't come on at that time, but we usually do it at 8 a.m. And the Knicks at Night podcast is every night at 11:45.
MF Doom in the building. MF Doom.
You guys, man.
I gotta go. I want you so bad, man. You and Chucky, man. I want y'all so bad, man.
This guy,
this morning, man. You get my text earlier.
Did this guy say that Frank Ntilikina is comparable to the ever great Tony Allen? The greatest, it might be the greatest perimeter defender of all time. Let me help you out. Because people talk about Suter Stephen Fox, you know what I mean? But I like stats too. I like statistical analysis too. Let me destroy you.
Hold on, Jomo. I'll listen to this again later on, but I gotta go.
No. I gotta go.
I gotta go. I love y'all. I'll be back. I love y'all, man. Take care.
This guy, man. Are you kidding me?
All right. Peace.
This guy, let me school you guys real quick, man. No. You don't come here talking about the ever great Tony Allen. I think because Tony Allen was an offensive player, people forget how impactful he was on defense. Let me just give you a stat. And this is coming from it says the Pistons firing. They got it from another article, right? They have a stat called Raptor, right, which is a plus-minus statistic that measures the number of points a player contributes to his team's offense and defense per 100 possessions relative to a league average. For instance, a player with an offensive Raptor rating of plus 2.1 boosts his team performance by 2.1 points per 100 offensive possessions while he's on the floor, right?
Okay.
Likewise, if somebody has 3.4, it's 3.4 points per 100 possessions, right? Let me tell you how absurd Tony Allen was, right? Let me just give you a list, right? Michael Jordan, from his time with from 85 to 03, right? Chicago and Washington, right? He had a defensive Raptor of 2.2. Nate McMillan, 2.2. Thabo Sefolosha, 2.2. Manu Ginobili, 2.0. Michael Ray Richards, 2.0. Jason Kidd, 1.9. Tony Allen, for his whole career, from 05 to 18, had a defensive rating of 2.8. Do not talk about Tony. When we talk about Tony, I think because we think about the Grizzlies where he was hurt for a lot of time, he didn't play as much. Go back to that Celtics team when they had Tony Allen, Rondo, Posey. That team defensively was unstoppable. You could not touch that Celtics team, or you couldn't have your way offensively against that Celtics team, man. We forget how impactful Tony Allen was.
Who's their defensive coach?
Tom Tibbs. Yeah, but hold up. This is the thing I don't like. I want Frank to succeed. What we do as Knicks fans, though, we have players that we like personally, and then we have biases, right? Oh, well, he didn't get coaching. He didn't do this. Or they didn't have this for him. They didn't. We had an underperforming team for years. Good coaching is, guys, you know how many good coaches there are in the NBA? Not many.
No, very small group.
Not many. You know how many times teams go through upheaval? You cannot count on good coaching, right? It is the majority of players in the NBA who improve. They get more comfortable in the league. They improve by themselves really in the league. You can only hope for good coaching. Even with good coaching, you can only hope the coach likes you or wants to implement you into their game plan. So when I look at Frank Ntilikina, as much as I want Frank Ntilikina to kill, bro, he has not done enough for us to justify him. Davis, what's this guy's name? Austin Rivers. I said Davis. Austin Rivers. I was thinking of Ashton Davis. My bad. Austin Rivers has done more than Frank, and he's getting paid less.
I know.
Frank is expendable. right? Even Knox, I'm not saying Knox, but even with Knox, we're looking at, yo, man, his ceiling could be here. Not many players reach their ceilings, right? But he has to have a floor, and Knox does not provide us a decent floor now, man. People just talk about Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges gives you a floor. I wanted Mikal Bridges from Villanova. I don't remember if you guys remember from Sims. What's the name? This was me and Mark. Mark wanted SGA. I wanted Mikal Bridges badly. So I said,
yeah, me too.
A 3D player from Villanova would do wonders for this team. That's why I like a Vassell, right? It's not necessarily that their ceilings are uber high, but they do something very well for the draft slot we have, right? And I think that when you take BPA, you better be right, because we've taken BPA players in the past and it's not worked. We've taken a few BPA players in the past. It's not come to fruition for the Knicks, right? Hopefully RJ Barrett bucks that trend, right? And I think he will. But again, let's not talk about the Tony Allen like this is your boy. This is your boy Kobe Bryant. He said Tony Allen was by far the toughest defender for him.
Mm-hmm.
The great immortal, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant said. Kobe Bryant has played against. Well, I mean, not really, but he's played against somebody. He played in the toughest ever, which was the late 90s defensively. The toughest ever was like the mid-late 90s. More so actually to the 2000s. After Jordan's left, go look at those teams. Back then, the early 2000s, the ugliest form of basketball you saw, right? Where guys just run, like you saw Baron Davis have to shoot up 40 shots. You know what I mean? It was inefficient, ugly basketball. Kobe Bryant played in that time, and he said Tony Allen's the best defender, man. And I'm not even a Tony Allen fan like that, but Tony Allen, I love good defenders, man. Let's not put Frank as a better defender than Tony. Please.
No, Legion.
No. I know not you guys. I know it's
Legion. Hold on.
And he left.
Anybody that puts Tony Allen and Frank Ntilikina in the same sentence, I don't know what they're smoking. What the point that was just trying to be made about Frank is that Frank has defensive potential because of his metrics and because of certain disciplines that he has. So the whole point was that we've never seen Frank in a good defensive structure system to really see what he can do defensively as far as switching our players and shutting down certain players on a night-to-night basis. I think that was the point we were really trying to hit, though.
Right, and so what we did was establish a reference point. The reference point we were trying to establish is for Frank to become an elite defender in that class of a Bruce Bowen and Tony Allen. Those dudes reached that peak at around age 25, right? Frank is 22. And so we were saying, are Knicks fans really going to be patient for 3 more years until Frank turns into Bruce Bowen? And if so, what do you pay Frank? And those dudes, Bruce Bowen started in Miami and became Bruce Bowen in San Antonio, and Tony Allen started in Boston and became Tony Allen. And I mean, the real Tony Allen, grit and grind Tony Allen in Memphis. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those deals where if we're patient with Frank, are we going to be patient for 3 more years, or is Frank going to go somewhere like Atlanta Hawks and then turn into that caliber of player where you're talking about those metrics on the historical level? Is what I was getting at.
Yeah, no, I was always just to get on the Tony Allen comparison, right? And someone said, "Oh, I get on all these young players, man. I get on Knox, Frank. I get on them because I want them to." I'm a person that I'm not gonna come at you if I don't care about you, right? Like I'm not gonna say things to get you to be better. Like if I don't care, if it was freaking Jared Jeffries, I don't give a damn what Jared Jeffries does.
Of course,
I really don't care what I don't care what Jerome James does, right? But when I look at these young kids, because I want them to succeed, because I know that again, especially Frank, coming from France, Knox, relatively young, the world can be brutal, right? Obviously, these guys make money. I'm not saying, but God forbid that even happens. But the NBA world can be brutal. We've seen it time and time again. Talented kids not finding a way. And the thing about when we talk about Tony Allen, someone said, I think someone in the chat said, "Oh, it took him 7 years, blah blah." Right? Tony Allen was like drafted in the first round to 2005, the 25th pick, right? So the expectations, I don't think, were as high on him, right? And again, he came to a situation. The Celtics, I believe, at that time, did they still have Antoine Walker? They still had Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce
at that time. Yes.
So you had a team, and versus also was a different NBA.
He was the 25th pick in 2004, by the way.
2004. So yeah, it was a different NBA, right? Where you can have a defense, and also think about when we talk about defensive specialists. If you have a winning team. If you have a team that gets to players and they have the scores, right, and they need you to do one thing, that's fine. But we're talking about a Knicks team that we need production from everywhere, right? So again, they're not looking, and for what Frank is being paid, if you can get cheaper options, right? It's cost benefit analysis, right? If I get cheaper options for better production, what am I going to do? And that's why I'm telling Frank, or no, I'm not talking to Frank, but I'm hoping Frank, hey, wake up. You know what I mean? Like, Thibodeau got competition. And this is why I said Fizdale the first 2 years. I would have said F Fizdale with his plays if it wasn't working for me, and I would have just tried to ball out. Frank, I would have just said, hey, I need to get in the post, coach. Because I've seen, and I'll give his credit to Frank. I've seen Frank do that little post-up move where he turns into the paint and hits that little floater. I don't know, not floater, but like a little ugly two-hand shot, but it goes into the paint. Right. Mm-hmm. I've seen him do it many times. I'm like, hey, Frank, you do not have the speed. Play some Jason Kidd. Play some Mark Jackson. Tell that to your coach Fizzo, because Fizzo don't know what he's doing. But anything that could possibly work, maybe he might go along with say, hey, let's try this out. And I'm not saying that they haven't tried that out. They haven't done that. But, you know, if they haven't, that's just an injustice, man. You got to hey, freaking Gilbert Arenas said a lot of these coaches don't know what the hell they're doing. He said that. Yeah, he don't know what they're doing. So it's like sometimes you got to tell them, and not in public and be like, hey, coach, you got to do. It's like, hey, coach, look, I saw this play. It worked for me. You know, can we just try this? Look, we're already experimenting. We're not really running much. Can I just try this? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And it's up to Fizzo. Then you can put out into the feelers out there, or to the you know, Alan Hans out there, that, hey, I told Fizzo that I shoot the ball at this percentage near the paint. You can put out as rumors, right? Frank Ntilikina has issues with Fizzo, blah, blah. You know, when Fizzo's getting fired or when people try to put blame on you, because they do it now, right? So you might as well do it to save your career, make you look good. Because, again, Frank has talent, but, again, the way we use him and the way the NBA is going in terms of they want these athletic guards who kind of push the pace, get into the paint, dish out to the perimeter, these athletic guards, Frank doesn't really fit that. No. And I know people, and one last thing, because I know I'm babbling on, but one last thing is that we look too much at teams who are successful and say, if Frank was on this team, well, yeah. If Moutier was on, I mean, he was on the Jazz and he had Spurs. THJ was on the Mavericks and he was one of the better off-ball shooters in the league. He looked great alongside Luka, right? They have systems and success that they can build off of. We don't. So exactly. Really compare. It's incomparable. When
Here's another thing too, Legion, about Frank, where he's not the type of guy to go to your coach and say, hey, look, listen, put me on the post here. Or, hey, you know, I would work better like this because this is what we did in France. He came from a culture where you could tell where it's like coach was dictator and he was doing what he's told to do. You could tell Frank came from that culture.
Following orders.
That's
what Frank. That's what Frank does. Frank follows orders.
Yeah, right.
And don't deviate.
So I'm saying that, of course, Gilbert being the person that he is, he'll go out there and tell the coach, hey, look, listen, man, you're doing this wrong. We should do it like this. Frank's not that type of guy. So we can't expect those type of things from Frank. That's why with Thibodeau, he might excel because Tibbs going to tell him what to do. And Frank's going to follow orders, just like Freezy said.
Yeah. So the thing with Frank, man, is you know, I know I troll the fan base a lot, and man, if y'all like this, man, MF Doom jumped in the in the video chat in the middle of the daytime, masking all. That's a treat. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. My man just jumped in ready for war, like it's Devin Vassell versus Aaron Neesmith or something. You know what I'm saying? I mean. And granted.
By the way, I had to school your boy Freezy. You see how Freezy don't talk about that total destruction when he tried to compare Naismith to Vassell, man. But you know what? Well, no, I think they're both gonna do good. Vassell fits the Spurs, and
Naismith's gonna do great with the.
He's gonna do good for the Celtics. Yeah, I think they still should have gotten a big man. But my boy Jalen Smith was taken. But yeah, I had to school Freezy, man. Freezy was egging me on every episode before the argument. Yo, man. So how you doing, bro? You know, it's crazy out here, man. But, you know, Vassell versus Naismith. I'm like, dog, what does that have to do? We could be talking about the sky is blue. We could be talking about water is wet. Yo, son, Naismith, man. It's crazy, son. Naismith. I'm like, all right, Freezy. I got a school big homie, man.
So he, I mean, but he like it. Okay, so in the immortal words of some dude that was a one-hit wonder, in every episode begins in this mode, very cool, very calm. There's no sweat in my palm. You know what I'm saying? That was our thing. Like legit, dude thought Devin Vassell was a player, and Devin Vassell got very fortunate to go to a team, a great culture. Because Devin Vassell anywhere else would have been
Whoa! What you see, Freezy? Now you're trying to bring up a new fake. I hate this guy. Now he's smiling. Now he's trying to bring up a new fake argument that Devin Vassell had to go to the right culture. Right?
Devin Vassell is a 6'7" Frank Ntilikina.
But okay, look at whoa.
No, way better shooter, Freezy. Stop that.
Way more productive.
Did you see Devin Vassell's shot?
Yes, but hold on.
The Trey Boucher?
And he still shoots better.
He's been doing that in that whole video must have been a hoax. San Antonio did that on purpose to get him to drop because Devin Vassell shoots. Go to his Virginia game. He scored 27 points. He had like six or 7 threes or whatever he had. He was literally shooting like that a lot of the time. He has a freaking trebuchet or however you pronounce it. He has a freaking shot like that. Like that's how he shoots. Come on, dogs. Come on, man.
Oh my gosh. Are we legit talking Devin Vassell? Devin Vassell is a 6'7" Frank Ntilikina.
Nah, man.
You're bugging. This is a guy
overrated D and 3-pointer in a small sample size.
41% shooting. 20. What do you have? A 20% usage rate on a team where you had Patrick Williams who went number 4. I don't know how. And 2 other players who had 20% usage. So 4 players with 20% usage on that team. And Devin Vassell had to share it with those guys. And you tell me he's Frank? Frank averaged what from Strasburg coming to the NBA? 5 points? A project who was drafted just for – what's crazy? How the hell is Freezy taking up for Frank? Like, what is this? What is it?
I'm not taking up for Frank. I think
you
Frank
slowly are. I'm hearing that the change in your tone is not as caustic as it was before, man. What's happening, bro? You okay?
Yeah, Frank Ntilikina is legit a 6'4" Charles Smith.
Okay.
Oh man. I gotta stop barbecuing Frank Ntilikina.
Frank deserves the rotisserie we put him on. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because Chuck B said it best. Chuck B said, "My man averaged 5 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists in Strasburg, and averaged the same thing across leagues." And when you look at that, you like, yo. My man legit deserve it.
Freezy is
my man legit deserve it. When you average 5, 3, and 2 for like 7 straight years, you know what? You are who your numbers say you are. So, but anyway, the unfair thing about Knox though is I legit broke down the thing about Knox, and y'all saw it play out in real time. Now, a lot of the facts have been forgotten because we had so many moving parts over the years. Like Knox is on his 3rd coach, and I'm not making any excuses. I'm just stating fact, just pulling facts off the record. Knox is on his 3rd coach, 2nd front office, all these different weird things, no development staff, and Fizdale would be on Knox like. I mean, it was just crazy. Why are you all over Knox like that? And then you legit watch Brad Stevens go put his hands in Jason Tatum's chest like, hey, dog, snap out of it. You are future. You the franchise. You just having a bad shooting night. Let me draw up these plays for you. Out of every dead ball timeout, be ready. Be ready. I don't care if they defend the 1 and 2 options, just stay with the play and we'll get you a shot. Right? Fizdale got mad that Knox blew an assignment and slammed his whiteboard in the floor like a petulant child. I'm so glad he gone, man. I'm so glad he gone. Like, well,
no excuses after this year. Tom is going to play these guys. Tom is going to put them in a position. Coaching staff is going to put them in a position to succeed. It's on them this year. No excuses.
Jay, what I'm saying is it might be too late for Knox.
Nah.
This is what I'm saying. That's what it may be too. You may have ruined them, and it happens with rookies. Nah. You may have ruined them like they ruined Frank. They legit may have ruined them. Every lottery pick that you select is not going to be a franchise savior or a franchise starter. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think we started getting it right when we got RJ. Once RJ came in, once we drafted RJ, we knew we had a player. And then this year, once we got Obi Toppin, we knew we had a player. But when you look back at Knox and Frank, there are too many questions that have to be answered before you can even assess where they are as NBA players.
Thank you, Simma. Thank you, Simma. Stop blaming the coaches, man. Like we put so much. I'm not. Look, I agree. The coaching did not help us, but again, coaching is literally it is a gift in the NBA. With how the NBA, it's a gift to have a good coach, or a coach who cares about you. You know what I mean? Like a developmental coach, a coach who doesn't. I mean, Jaeger, whatever his name is, had the Kings close to the playoffs, right? But he didn't fit with Buddy Hield, right? And he's no longer there, right? So again, you could have a good coach that fits, say RJ, but guys like again the veterans and all these guys.
Fire Greg Williams.
Yeah. So all right, real quick on the Jets. So he was gonna get fired anyway. They're all gonna get fired anyway. This was his parting gift. He ran a cover 0 against a Hail Mary type pass at the end of the game, which was basically, hey, let's get this loss. So again, it's obvious. It's obvious that's what happened. It's obvious. He was gonna get fired anyway. They're gonna fire this whole coaching staff. These guys are just here for the tank. So
right.
It is what it is. But yeah, look, man, I'm hoping Thibodeau can impart his wisdom. But again, hear what he said yesterday. He said all the markings of possibly implementing aspects of the triangle, right? That the veterans, that he likes the veterans because they know what to do. They're familiar with things. They can execute things fairly quickly. He implied it. I'm not saying what he said verbatim. And that young kids could do things athletically, right? That's just like some type of compliment, right?
That's what he said.
So these kids, Eli's rookies aren't going to get major minutes. Maybe Obi's going to get it after they try to trade off Randall, maybe in the second half. But Eli's guys is going to come through practice, and the little game time they get, the 5, 6, 7 minutes, they got to show execution. Tom Thibodeau's an old school coach, man. He comes from that old school George Karl, Van Gundy, Pat Riley. Show me what you can do. If you could be out this veteran, okay, fair enough. But I'm not giving you playing time just because you're a young kid, right? I want a framework with which to build my team from, right? And you got to go and execute. Obviously, yes, you talk about the Wolves, but that team was young all over, right? And the talent. He kind of was stuck. And he brought in Butler. He got rid of Levine, who became a 25 and 7 type of player, right. And brought in Butler, a veteran that he was familiar with. And Levine is a talented player, but Butler he was familiar with, a guy who was able to run his system. Run his philosophies, like the triangle, the horns plays, things like that. And so again, Tom Thibodeau is going to favor these veterans, man. These young kids that we're clamoring for, they have to be more efficient in the small time they got. Do the right things. Knox, when you're playing against such and such, defend properly, rebound properly, and you get more playing time. That's how Kawhi Leonard. Remember, Kawhi Leonard on the Spurs, he got his comeuppance to your boy Popovich said, hey, if you defend and rebound for me, you can do whatever you want on offense, but you got to defend and rebound for me. Kawhi was like, he learned his 3-point shot, like as the season progressed. He wasn't really like a main part of the offense. So it was a meritocracy thing. It's like, all right, I'm going to do this for you, coach. Okay, now can I take a shot? You know what I mean? That's a kind of extreme way to look at it, but
right.
Again,
I understand.
We need that discipline. Freeze, we need that discipline with these guys.
Yes. And to bring up Simon Singh's point here, that's why I was saying earlier, if I was in the GM chair, I would have never taken Frank and Knox at those spots.
I think Simon Singh missed my point though. My point was not that the coaching staff ruined the kids. My point is that there was no culture, no safety net. I already talked about that like 40 minutes ago. There was no culture, no safety net. Whereas when Knox made a mistake, Fizdale would get all over him, and Knox would sit on the bench and be more lost than he did when he made a mistake. But now that Thibodeau is here, Thibodeau can get all over Knox, and Mike Woodson to be right there as a safety net to be like, hey kid, listen, you know what I'm saying? The coach is the captain of the ship, and his goal is to make sure the ship is headed in the right direction. Go talk to Coach Kenny. Coach Kenny is going to get you right on the mistakes you make. So there's a safety thing in place. I'm not just talking about the
culture.
Yeah, that was the point I'm getting at. And I think it may have been missed on the chat, but what I'm saying is you can't make Kevin Knox walk the plank every time he makes a mistake. That's ridiculous. Who does that to an asset?
He did to Frank. He did it to Frank.
But Frank. That's what I'm saying. Who made legit? You can't make kids walk the plank every time they make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what's the point of having somebody? Right. That was my point. Now Thibodeau will do the same thing, but now you have a Mike Woodson in place. Whereas there's a rift between the coach and player, you got a Mike Woodson and a Kenny Payne to work on technique if it's a big, and Johnny Bryant to work on the technique if it's a guard, you know, or a wing. You know what I'm saying? Before we didn't have that. You said you were sending dudes to keep smart.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, come on, dog. And the smartest dude in the room, the smartest dude in the room, Caleb Canales, you didn't even listen to him. You didn't even listen to him.
Yeah.
Well, that's where you being aware as a player comes in, right? Where you're like, wait, hold up. Caleb Canales is a guy who, I mean, you know which assistant coaches are smartest, right? Or the guys who
he turned Dame Lillard into Dame time.
And Keith Smart. I mean, he got hot off that one shot of Indiana.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you look at this is what I'm saying with these kids, right? Like, fortune doesn't favor. It favors those who are aggressive. It favors those who use their own agency and volition to find that fortune, right? You got to go out there and you got to seek it, and then it's going to come. You got to be smart. When we talk about Frank, Frank is from a different culture. Well, if I go over there and play soccer, right, I can't be American, right? I can't have the American mindset, right? If I go over to France, that's why, I mean, yeah, great soccer, French players, Paul Pogba, you know, I mean, Griezmann, all those guys. But when you go over and play in the Premier League, when you go over and play in freaking La Liga, you got to adapt to their culture or you're going to be out. So Frank has to adapt to the culture here. And that means that you got to be aggressive in how you think and how you develop. This is why I like RJ Barrett.
Yes.
RJ Barrett injured his ankle and he hired his own shooting coach with his own money. Like dogs, how can the basketball gods look favorably upon that? They love that. RJ Barrett has that Kobe. I'm not saying he's these players, but that fire.
The personality. The EQ, right? Jordan
was improving with freaking Doug Collins, who used to almost cry on the bench. This dude used to drench sweat, act like, what type of coach is that?
Right.
You know what I mean? And he saw Tex Winters and he saw Phil Jackson on the sideline, right? Not to say that he vouched for him or everything, but he probably moved to, because that's why when they implement the triangle, he's like, yeah, I'm down for it. Just so you don't dip my stats too low. He joked around, said that, right? But it goes to show, he knew that those guys were the guys. He knew Doug Collins wasn't a guy, right? So when I see a guy like Derek Fisher trying to have sex with my girlfriend, or I see a guy like freaking Fizdale who doesn't know how to run it, he doesn't know how to run a team, right?
Right.
I'm going to be like, you know what? Yo, maybe I should find outside counsel. I should find some advisors. I should pick some people's brains. RJ Barrett was talking to Allen Houston. I've never heard anybody talk to Allen Houston for as long as this guy's been in this damn building. That's the first time I heard somebody picking his brain. There could have been other guys we may not know, but RJ Barrett, they put it out there, right? That's what I'm saying. You got to be aggressive in your own development. These guys, these coaches, a lot of these guys, they experiment. Fizzo's on ESPN now. He's getting checks. He doesn't, whatever.
Care?
Well, look, and
he'll get another job. Tyronn Lue got a job. How the hell does Tyronn Lue have a job? That's what I'm talking about. It's a carousel, right? My bad. I didn't make a joke.
No, it's all good. Just what I'm saying is that the players, what they do in the offseason matters. And I agree with you 100%. And you have to have that drive. And nobody should tell you what you need to do on a day-to-day basis, especially if you're trying to improve your game. But culture matters too. It can't be one without the other. A perfect example of that, right? I'll give you a perfect example. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson would not fully unlock, right, until what they could be and what they became until the culture got more solidified. It's a fact.
You think so?
I mean, come on, think about it.
Steph Curry was averaging 40% from three and 17, 15 points until I think all the way up until the whole Steph Curry, Steve Kerr hire, right? He was putting up stats. It's just that they were.
I was talking about the Mark Jackson hire, but I was talking about before Steve Kerr.
Oh, okay, yeah. But since he got into the league, this guy was producing, and the only thing that was holding him back was a stupid foot injury, right?
No. But he wasn't. My point is that I'm not saying he wasn't putting up numbers. I'm saying that he wasn't the player. He wasn't the impact that he was until the culture got solidified. And the same thing goes for a guy like Jimmy Butler. Look, Jimmy was putting up numbers for years, right? Mm-hmm. With Minnesota and stuff like that. But we didn't see what Jimmy can really bring to a team until he came to Miami, because they have a solidified culture. They know exactly what their players are going to do when they come in and out. So I agree with you. And this goes to Frank and Knox. They have to get aggressive. as far as how they approach the game on a day-to-day basis. But sometimes, everybody's different. Not everybody can receives the message the same way. So sometimes, that culture has to be in place, and guys like Frank and Knox to say, okay, you know what? Maybe I got to do this. Okay, Johnny was on my butt today. So now I'm going to, and that's something that maybe they didn't do last year or 2 years ago.
But here's what you said. Here's a point to what you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is how bad our players are. You mentioned all those players, right?
Yeah.
Were they productive before the culture changed?
Absolutely.
That's the thing with us. Maybe it's bad drafting, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're so bad that, like, when you mention those examples, in my head, I'm like, I would kill for Steph Curry's rookie production right now in the Knicks.
Right.
That's almost a ceiling for some of our players now. If Frank gave me Steph Curry's rookie year production, we would be calling Frank a Hall of Famer. This is how bad our team is, man.
Yep.
Touch at the bottom. We don't have base level productive players, young players that we've drafted.
Yeah.
Right. And part of it too, man, is like what me and Dave were talking about an hour ago. Man, some teams like legit bought the Lakers will trade everybody, even part ownership, to win a championship, right? Meanwhile, the Knicks are saying, live January 28th, Billy Joel will be doing the Star Spangled Banner. I mean, come on, dog. Really, man. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do, right? The Knicks legit, like we want to win a championship. But we don't want to win a championship desperately. You know what I'm saying? Like, ownership doesn't desperately want to win a championship.
You don't think so?
No. You know who wants to win a championship desperately? The Miami Heat.
No,
the LA Lakers.
Crazy. When you just mentioned the Billy Joel thing, right? MSG, for good and for bad, I guess in this context, is a historic site, right? I mean, outside of basketball, people come here. The Knicks will never not sell out because you have foreigners, right? Somebody from Germany wants to come and see you guys play, or when we played Dirk, I was there at that game. You know how many German people were in the crowd to watch Dirk's last game against the Knicks? So it's unfair. That's why I look at the fans in the back, right? The guys who I'm not issuing on anybody, but obviously the cheapest seats, nosebleeds and stuff. You see their fervor, you see their fire, their passion. You see this Knicks community. We won it badly, right? But again, the Garden's always going to sell out, right? Because it's a site. It is what it is. New York is, New York's not Indiana. Indiana really only has the Pacers and corn. I don't know the hell you have in Indiana. And the Hoosiers, right? But the Knicks have Madison Street. Like, New York is a circus level attraction type of city, and in a good way, right? It is what it is. But Knicks fans, bro, when you talk to Knicks fans, man, you can't say and tell me that we're not some of the most passionate, whether you agree with us or not. But you find some of the most informed people out of the most random pockets. We want a championship that we're yearning for. Why do you think we haven't gone over to the Brooklyn Nets, who've been to the players more consistently, or in the past, at least more times?
But that's not what I'm saying, though, dog.
I think you're talking about the organization.
I'm not talking about.
Oh, you said, my bad. I think you're talking about. I apologize for you. You're talking about the organization.
I'm not talking about Legion of Knicks podcast. I'm not talking about Day. I'm not talking about Uncle Freezy, because we all desperately want a championship. What I'm talking about is organization-wise, I feel like we don't have that desire to win a championship more than we want to breathe air. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and if you talk to the San Antonio Spurs, who are down, they legit feel like they want to win championships more than they want to breathe air. And for them, it's because of survival. If they're not winning, they're not making money. You know what I'm saying?
But
I'm talking about the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors legit feel like their existence is built to winning championships, because if they don't have money to they don't make money. The Knicks, we make money. You know what I'm saying? We make money. We're like, coming February 2nd, the halftime tax to be Nasty Nas. You know what I'm saying? We like, yo, and I'm like, yo, come on, man. Really? I want to win games. I want to win a championship. I love Nas, but dog, I want to win a championship first. I don't care about Billy Joel.
Here's a scary part.
I don't care about Bruce Springsteen. You know what I'm saying? I legit want to win championships, man.
I actually like Bruce Springsteen.
You know what I'm saying? And think about this. Think about this, which is crazy. Like if the Knicks, because in the 45 years or 46 years since the Knicks won a championship, the only time of prosperity during that stretch is the 90s Knicks, right? And the 90s Knicks get slandered. I mean, when people hear John Stark's name, what's the first thing they think about? Oh, he shot 2 for 18 in Game 7. When they hear Charles Oakley's name, the first thing they think about, oh, he got kicked out of the Garden. When they hear Latrell Sprewell, oh man, Dolan didn't want to do. I mean, come on, man. I mean, legit, we don't even have legacy. We don't care. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Golden State Warriors have numbers in their rafters. You don't even know who they are. You know what I'm saying? But they meant something to a generation of people. You know what I'm saying?
They even hold homage to that team in 08 that got knocked out in the second round.
Right.
The one that had like they still talk about it to this day, and they hold that as like a measuring stick as to their attitude to be on the court on a day-to-day basis and stuff of that nature, right?
The strength in numbers team.
Mm-hmm.
The strength in numbers team. They respect the strength in numbers team.
Here's the scary part you guys are missing. Dolan wants to win, but he's dumb. He's dumb and proud. Freeze, that's a scary thing. If we had an owner, I agree with you, but I think you have it wrong. Dolan wants to win, but he's dumb and proud. So he thinks that he wants to win on his until he got Leon Rose, right? And again, I'm a little bit hesitant just because the whole agent GM thing. We're Mets fans. We already know how badly that ended with Brody Van Wagen. I'm just
But in basketball, that's
the Mets made the playoffs 9 times in 58 years. The Mets only made the playoffs 9 times in 58 years. But I wanted to. Hey, I hear your point. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying. Dolan is dumb and he's proud. So he had his friend Steve Mills, right? Imagine getting your cousin sleeping on the couch and saying, "Yo, bro, y'all run this business, man. Yo, you're gonna be the vice president," and he don't know nothing about your business. And he's making, and it's not even figurehead. It's one thing if you got like legit basketball minds to run the business, but have Steve Mills as like the figurehead, right? They were allowing Steve Mills to the point that Steve Mills wanted to trade for Terry Rozier and D'Angelo Russell and didn't want to give up Marcus Morris for a first rounder. Marcus Morris, who I like. Marcus Morris is the right guy at the wrong time for the Knicks. A guy that if you get a first rounder for a role player like Marcus Morris, you get the first rounder and you run. This is Steve Mills for you. He's dumb. Right. So Dolan is dumb. Dolan is a petulant child. So unfortunately, when you have petulant children, they don't think logically. They don't think like the Spurs. They don't think like the Heat. The Heat have the best organization to me is the Heat or the Spurs. But I like the Heat a little bit more because Pat Riley is such a G. He got the coach to fit his system. He got the player. Yeah. And he changes the system every year. Or sorry, not every year, but like every iteration, right? When they had Dwayne Wade, Shaq, Gary Payton, Mike Miller, that was a different. Right. When they had Dwayne Wade, LeBron, Chris Bosh, different
system. Right.
That's what I'm saying. It's beautiful how it works. And yes, they're more concerned about it. But Miami's an attraction. People go to, well, let me not say people go to games because you see how Miami fans are when if they're finicky like that. But still, I don't think they'll struggle like say a smaller market team. But unfortunately, we have Dolan. Dolan is just dumb.
Well, let me ask you a question though. Hey, let's throw Dolan to the side for a second. Mm-hmm. From top to bottom, to our president of basketball operations, to our head coach, is this the most competent team that a front office and all that? Is this the most organization and structure you've seen out of the front office to coaching staff in the last 20 years?
What was there before Melo? What was there with Donnie Walsh?
That was Donnie Walsh, Mike D'Antoni. Let's go over it. That was a competent structure organization.
Yeah, I like Donnie Walsh a lot, man. I know people kill him because look, the draft picks weren't great, and the whole we're gonna get LeBron James. But I thought at the end, the team he had, I think they were going in the right direction. And honestly, the player that they thought was gonna fall to them was Steph Curry. Should they probably trade up? Maybe, but Steph Curry was going to be on the Knicks if it wasn't for the Warriors finally getting their act together. So
right,
and I think Steph Curry would have been a beast. Absolute beast for that.
So here's the point, right? Let's just say with Donnie Walsh or Mike D'Antoni, right? There was a culture, there was competence in the front office. We were playing 500 basketball, and Amari Stoudemire was probably on his way to be second or third on the MVP voting that year, right? So I'm saying that, that matters. And I'm saying that I'll throw Dolan to the side for a second because it seems that from the moves that are being made, Dolan doesn't have much of a say right now, besides just cutting the check, from what I'm seeing. Because this doesn't look like a Dolan type of brain power of what's going on here. Bringing in guys like Walt Perrin, bringing in that capologist guy. They even got that kid on the development staff. I forget his name. That
the one who came from the stat guy, the analytics guy, the one who like sold his
No. He's like he was scouting, but he develops players. I forget his name, man.
Not Manning, not Perrin, not the young kid who came in.
I'll get his name in a second.
All right.
My point being is that this type of structure matters, and especially when everybody's on the same page. Now we know what type of players we want. Now we know what type of attitude we want the guys to have on a day-to-day basis. Now we have standards. We have goals. These things matter, man.
Oh, bro, for sustained success, I agree with you 1,000,000,000%, right? For team success, right, to have a path. This is why I'm going to like this season, hopefully, right, if it goes this way, because Thibodeau, again, he got bare bones competition with some of these vets coming in, right? Alec Burke is not a world beater, but what does he do? He can take guys on ISO. He has a decent, I think he's ranked like 69th percentile for post-ups last year. And he also could shoot the corner three, which is going to be a staple in Tibbs' offense. He said that, right? So you're going to have somebody who could do it now. Everybody who's in that 2-3 guard or 2 guard wing 3 wing position to try to compete with Alec Burke or Reggie Bullock, you got to beat that base level competition out. Burks is getting. Oh, actually, I don't know if Burks' contract was released. I know it's 1 year, but I don't know the money. I think it might be around 5 because all these other guys got paid $5 million.
I believe it's
6 years. It's 1 year, $6 million.
1 year, $6 million.
$6.
At the time when I checked, this is wild. Like when it first happened, they didn't release the details yet. A person like Mitchell Robinson, right? Because this thing with Knicks fans, right? We always say, damn, if they had coaching, but we also don't take into account what if this guy if this guy took his job a little more serious, or if he took it like, yo, this is the last game I'm playing, man, I got to ball out. What would they do? Because I think Mitchell Robinson, let's be honest, from year 1 to year 2, Mitchell Robinson kind of rests on his laurels a little bit. He didn't take that step that everybody thought he was going to take, man. After he got 100 and some blocks, he even set a record for block, whatever the hell he had. I mean, it was a certainly good season for a kid who got drafted. Was it late first round?
Yes. No, second round, I believe.
Second round, right? And I think that he's in New York. I mean, you go into 1-0, you go into clubs, everybody, yo, Mitchell, oh my gosh. You feeling yourself. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just BSing. But a lot of these guys, they feel that way, and then you see their games kind of tail off. Mitchell Robinson, again, played 22 minutes, 9 and 7. If Mitchell Robinson did not get as much foul trouble, and it's understandably so, it's not all his fault. We had bad players who put dynamic ball handlers onto Mitch Robinson. Now he has to take on the brunt of those players. But again, when DJ was here, Mitch Robinson looked a lot better with the same crappy Knicks team. So a lot of that has to go to some of his fundamentals. You have to work. Forget the God, Sham God, all that stuff. So if Mitchell Robinson, just like RJ Barrett shot better from the free throw line, he's averaging 18 to 20 points. If Mitchell Robinson did better with his footwork, played more discipline with his defense, he'll be out there for 35 minutes. That 9 and 7 turns easily probably into a 12 and 10. Yeah, easily. Right. With an extra 0.5, 0.3 blocks here. So we have to put the impetus on our players to say, hey, and that's what Thibodeau's doing. Thibodeau's like, no mistake. I'm not sitting here. I'm gonna put these veterans in. If you can't beat them out, so be it. Yeah, and then you draft next year. Now you go into next year's draft, which is gonna be. I'm not jumping into it, even though I will be coming out with my Jalen Suggs video because
I love him.
That boy. Yo. All right. Sorry. And I'll talk about Kincaid. I didn't mean to disrespect Kincaid like that. The coolest cutter at camp. I didn't, because Kincaid was the number one guy I was saying, but Jalen Suggs, man, he's a dog. I know Freezy. Sometimes I know Freezy's happily married, but sometimes you got to do you just look sometimes like, you know what I'm saying? But but I'm gonna get to that. But next year, and not Dolan. Tibbs said that. He said there are 4 ways to build a team, and he mentioned the draft.
Yeah,
that should put the fire under you, man. Like, yo,
but you know what gets me about these players is that Frank Ntilikina has been in the league for 3 years, right? Has not across his mind that his ball handling needs to get stronger and tighter, and that he needs more moves off the dribble to gain separation. Like, I can sit on my couch and tell Frank that.
Keep going.
Right? Okay.
Keep going.
Oh, no, I got you. Don't worry about it. Right? Wait, hold on, Frizzy. Wait, hold on, Frizzy. Wait, let me make it, and then you got me, right? Let's go to Kevin Knox real quick. Yep. Does Kevin know that he needs to move his hips a little bit better when he drives? Because he just goes into a straight line every single drive. Did he ever think about putting a pull-up? Did he ever think about putting a step back? Like, or at least a 1-2 dribble pull-up to, like, Mitchell Robinson. Can I face up? Can I at least give guy a 1 pound and then turn over with my left or right shoulder and put a hook shot?
Spin.
I don't have to sit here and tell you these things. Go ahead, Freezy.
I agree with you with everything you said, except the thing with Frank Ntilikina. I think Frank Ntilikina's handles have improved so much from year one to where he is right now.
Okay.
I think it's almost embarrassing. Now the other stuff that the thing that disturbs me about Frank is his inability to consistently be assertive. You know what I mean? On offense specifically.
His biggest concern offensively.
How do you try to yam on Rudy Gobert or try to yam on Kristaps Porzingis, and then the lane is open 97 more times and you don't go?
And won't destroy Trae Young or something like that.
17% foul draw rate. That's not going to cut it in the NBA.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's just
I think so that's what I'm saying. I think Frank Ntilikina is a 6'4" Tyrone Hill. I don't think he'll ever be a point guard.
He's just gonna keep naming like generic players with like ugly names, or just come on, man. Like
I'm just saying.
Who else can say next? Stacey Augmon,
Mag Geiger.
I was gonna call Frank.
Frank Ntilikina's a 6'4" Chris Gatlin. Keep going, Frank.
6'4" Keep
going.
But to bring the point though. And look, that's why I said coach is one thing, but another thing is that these players have to know themselves. This is called emotional intelligence. You have to know who you are and who you aren't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's no excuse for Frank not going out there and getting his one-on-one moves better, or his dribble drive better, or his ability to finish through contact better. There's no excuse for that.
Well, the excuse is that he's a 6'4" Hot Rod Williams.
Stop it.
You see what
that's the thing. My man is legit not an NBA point guard. You know what I'm saying? We need to go whether Frank
even if he's at the 2 Freezy, he would still have to do those things.
Yep.
But he's not. But Frank is not. He's definitely not a 2021, 2020 2 guard. He's definitely not that.
But
I'm not seeing him in a category with Bradley Beals, with Klay Thompson.
I wouldn't dare compare
mid-range, right? Frank had a lot of clean looks in mid-range. Take 1 or 2 steps in, hit them. If you don't feel comfortable with the 3-point shot, find a way to. I don't even care about. Find a way to be productive. No, that's why I agree with Mark, man. It's just like, dog, like you gotta find a way to be. And for a team that was so trash, this is why I think that. That Fizdale year was so important, because you miss an opportunity to show your individual skill and work on your individual skill. That was the year. This is why I don't get mad about RJ Barrett's rookie year. People are like, oh, he shot 40%. It's his rookie year.
Under complete dysfunction.
Peyton Manning threw 28 interceptions his rookie year. I'm not looking at efficiency per se. I'm looking at what can you do well, what do you want to improve at, and how I can basically take your game and kind of mold it, right? So if you're driving to the basket willy-nilly and you're shooting like 40% of the basket is terrible, okay, Frank, when you go to the basket, let's teach you a Euro step move. Let's teach you a nice little spin move, a hop step. Teach you how to do the Embiid fake with a little dream Hakeem footwork where you spin, fake the shot, and then, you know what I mean? Let's give me something from which I can build with. But if you're giving me 5 and 3 and just
hesitant, tentative.
Like what? I'm still hoping on a star. I'm still looking at the past dimension of Phil Jackson and trying to take from that and say, and Frank might be lucky if the triangle comes back. He might be lucky, but it also might expose him, because if he doesn't succeed in triangle sets, they're gonna be like, so what the hell was he drafted for then? You drafted for the triangle. He can't even do good in the triangle. What we drafted him for?
But so my thing is so Frank played 4 years of Euroball, right? And he's played 3 years in the NBA. So the gap of the learning is closing. So he played the 4 years in Euro and all that stuff, right? but he's played 3 years with the Knicks. Why are we still talking about FIBA Frank? You know what I'm saying? He's been in the game 3 years.
Crazy. I got killed when I said Frank should play in the summer league last year. I got killed when
I was with you. I was with you.
He should.
I'm not saying it was on MBK. So it's MBK. But everyone was like, "Oh, but he's playing with FIBA." I'm like, "Yo, bro, FIBA is like that. That's Old Faithful. That's like you always feel comfortable playing, bro." I remember again, Rudy Fernandez, Team Spain. He looked like a Hall of Famer with the Team Spain team. Right. Yeah. When he got on the Blazers, you said, "Who the hell's this guy?" He didn't do nothing.
And it's not even that. With that France team, he's like the third or fourth or fifth scoring option on that. He really just sets the offense and just stays at a place.
Yes.
So that's not improving him.
And we're going off a few shots he hit against, again, when you're playing with your countrymen, familiarity, you feel comfortable. The biggest indicator to me is if Frank stayed with that summer league team, right? People kill me, but play as many games as possible, right? Because you came to the regular season not even playing that much anyway. So might as well get – and again, I think that also played to Fizdale's psyche, like, yo, this dude doesn't want to play – not to say he's an American versus France, but it's like you're in a precarious position with the Knicks right now, Frank. It would have been better off for you to play these 5 summer league games, ingratiate yourself, show me a new wrinkle. So that then this is where the posting up comes from, right? Summer league would have been the perfect time to say, "Hey, coach, I got a post up game I developed over the summer. We can implement this more. I can facilitate from here. I can take smaller guards from the post up position." You know what I mean? It's another vantage point that we can utilize for this team.
Yeah.
Okay, Frank. All right, let me see what you got. We playing against such and such summer league. Let me see what you got. And it worked like, and people be like, "Oh, this worked. Okay, let's change the book up." Now Frank is
right.
This is how you show your coach is going to come through practice, right? If you're out on the court and unless you're shooting at an extremely high efficiency rate for doing what you're doing, anything taken out of the playbook or outside the playbook, the coach is not going to sit here and be like, "Yeah, let's keep running that." If you're not doing it at a Michael Jordan level of proficiency, you got to do this stuff in practice. You got to do this stuff in the summer league, G League. And Frank missed an opportunity, and he went to go play with guys he's comfortable with. Frank, this is America. This is the NBA. You're not going to be comfortable until you show and prove. So if you want to be comfortable, go back to France. If you want to be comfortable, go back to France.
Just play there.
That's all I'm saying. Come on.
Yeah, I agree with all this stuff, and I think Frank Ntilikina, just like what Legion of Knicks podcast said, he should be more self-aware of these things, because if we can see it from the outside looking in, as an NBA player, he should probably be more self-aware. That's the frustrating part. That's the reason why I call Frank Ntilikina a 6'3.5" Tree Rollins. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, who's this the top?
It's Tree Rollins. He said Tree Rollins. He brought out the tree.
Yo, man. Freezy has a list of generic plays. He's just gonna keep going on.
Right.
I'm just waiting for the
next. But you know what? You know what, Freezy? That's not just Frank.
Freezy's a hater.
That's not just Frank. As far as that lack of EQ, that lack of awareness to know what I need to work on and what I need to get stronger at. It's not just him. But culture comes with that too. Culture will tell your ass, "Hey, listen, you need to work on this summer. You want to crack the rotation? You need to do this."
What about your inner circle, bro? Who are you?
Your friends. Get some new friends.
You should always have the naysayer dude who's like, "Yo, Frank." When Frank is out there, because you don't have friends who are gonna hang around him for money. Yo, man, F that team. I would be the dude like, "Yo, Frank, you my dogs and all, and I know that like I'm on your payroll or whatever. Like you hold me down, but you sucking, bro. Now if you want me to with you 5 a.m. in the morning,
I'll do
it to work on your game, and I could talk to people, get coaches or get people to work on your game. Let's do that. You need dudes who keep taking videos of you to sell their training videos, because the stuff you're doing, one, is putting more of a spotlight on you, and you're not even really. I mean, if you come to next season not developed at the things you're so-called working at, it's not going to look good for you or the person who's trying to market their wares like they got it like that. So, Frank, just to be honest with you, here's some things I think that you could work on. If you don't believe me, I got such and such player to talk to you. I got such and such analyst to break down your game, bro. And it's up to you to take it, man. If you hate me for this, I still love you, bro. But you're my friend, and I want you to succeed. That's how I would do it with Frank, man.
And those are the type of friends I want around. I want my friend that told me I shot 30% from the right corner last year. I need to improve on that.
Hey, and I have a story about that, right? So I played softball in this industrial league, right? Mm-hmm. And so when we were doing positions, I was like, yo, I want to wear number one. I want to wear number one, bat leadoff, and I want to play shortstop. And so the coach was like, Uncle Freezy, you 400 pounds, right? Like, yeah, but I can move. I'm like a dancing bear. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, I get to that ball, man. I'm straight. The arm don't ever get rusty. And so they, in practice they hitting these, the slow rollers to you. I'm getting in my Jose Reyes bag. You know what I'm saying? I'm flinging the ball. So I'm looking good. Brand new cleats, Jordan everything, Jordan shirt, Jordan. Look, Jordan undersleeve shirt. Long sleeve shirt underneath. I'm fly headband. Jordan cleats.
Look at the part.
Look at the part. You know what I'm saying? The TPX softball glove, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff.
You guys bringing it back, man.
Right, and then so the game, so my homeboy like, hey, they talk about moving you to first base. And I'm like, man, I ain't playing on first base. It's Uncle Freezy. And everybody like, Uncle Freezy, man, look, man, go play first base, man. And I'm like, yo, it's Uncle Freezy. They're like, hey, dog. Hey, shortstop is probably for them dudes that weigh like 150, 160. And I'm like, yo, it's Uncle Freezy, baby. They're like, right. And I'm like, they're like, hey, man. Hey, they like, hey, Uncle Freezy, hey, man. Back in the day, in high school, you was the man. But right now, you like 6'5.5", about 403. Dudes like that at that size generally don't play shortstop. And I'm like, what is Uncle Freezy, baby? It's me. They're like, so after a while, they're like, hey, man, take your ass to first base.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so you like what Guillermo was saying, you need cats like, hey, man, you just ain't got it no more. If that ain't in your bag, you need to, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, yo, it's Uncle Freezy, baby. Look at me. Yeah. They're like, hey, dog. They don't put 400-pound dudes at shortstop, man. Not even in the softball league, in industrial league. And I'm like, but it's Uncle Freezy.
See, and you know what? And I'm feeling like that a little bit with this whole OB at the 3 talk.
Yep.
Like, OB, hold on. You got to guard these 4s and 5s first before you think you go out there and guard Jason Tatum. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
And so the thing is when a ball was hit straight to me or where I could just reach, I'm a Hoover. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this Uncle Freezy, baby. But with balls in the hole or I got to run to turn a double play, Frank Ntilikina at point guard is basically the result. Frank Ntilikina is a 6'4". Frank Ntilikina is me at shortstop, basically. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those deals where you got to know when it's your time and when it's not your time. And right now, Frank Ntilikina is not an NBA point guard. Frank is more of a gonna be a Bruce Bowen type guy in 3 years. And he should develop that or start growing into that right now.
And even if that happens, that's not so bad.
I know this. I know.
Yeah. So I hope somebody on the coaching staff is telling Obi, you better stop dreaming about playing the 3. I really do, because he said it.
If you want to play the 3, you better improve those hips and that torque and that defense, man. If you want to, right? I mean, I agree with you. I don't think he's a 3. But again, you could overachievers, man. I like overachievers, man. I like people who like that, who take that
shoot for the stars.
Right. Shoot for the stars, man. If I want to play the 3 because hey, I want to play in the starting lineup, even if I'm playing with Randall, right? So that means I got to provide better defense. I got to be better on defense, defensive awareness, footwork, my hips. I got to do some yoga, something. I got high hips. I got to work on, breaking a leg, making it allowed to have that torque when I act. Yeah, I mean, it's up to these guys, man. Again,
check this out. Check this out, Gabriel. Check this out real quick, just because you said something made me think about it. Julius Randle, right? Check this out. Against the 3-point line, actually defended the 3-point line at 34% last season. Julius Randle, 15 feet and out, actually defended perimeter shooting at 38%.
But hold up, let's break it down. Is he switching on? Is this him switching onto smaller guard shooting, or is him staying with the bigger 4s who made and they're shooting, right? Because is one thing, because Mitchell, I don't know the numbers of Mitchell Robinson, but we've seen it in spurts where Mitchell Robinson would get stuck with a guard, especially his rookie season, and he guarded them fairly well. Right? Randall, I don't know, because I've seen with Randall, Randall does not step up on a pick and roll. He doesn't really offer help. He's not Cantor-like, but he's like half a step above Cantor in terms of how bad his defense is. So again, if it's fours who are shooting against him, who may be able to shoot a little bit, but they're not the best, and they're doing that against Julius Randle. But then the thing with Julius Randle, this is what gets me mad. I've seen it. Even with the Pelicans, I've seen it where he had spurts where defensively he was a dog.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. I mean, a dog. Again, I go back to the Pelicans game where he was playing against, I think they were in Toronto. They lost that game, and it was playing against, he was up against Pascal Siakam. Now, yes, Pascal Siakam is not the most offensively gifted player, but he had Kawhi Leonard there, and Pascal Siakam was on a come up, right? And he shut down Pascal Siakam. Like, he shut down. I mean, on drives, he was doing a Frank Ntilikina hip thing where he was basically guiding him with his hips, stopping the little, stop and pop attempts or that stuff. I said, but he was inconsistent on the Pelicans too. I said, this Julius Randle can increase his stamina and endurance. Because one thing I like about that Julius Randle did, and this goes back to having proper people in your circle, right? If you're a big man like that, right? When you have all that weight and muscle on you, your endurance, your ability to breathe, right? The blood flow is not as strong, right? That's why you see a lot of bodybuilders, they walk around like this, but they're breathing because all that weight is not it's hurting your respiratory system, right? Or not hurting, but it's tighter. It's holding it back. That's right. So Julius Randle, when he had that whole, he had the transformation, which is good, right? He took his health. He should have had somebody say, "Hey, you should probably play a lot more leaner," because you already have. When you look at Julius Randle, he already has strong bone, right? That's where your strength really comes from. It's not necessarily the muscle; it's the bone. Like he has like thick bone, right? You have thick bone, leaner muscle. He'd be able to run the floor. Every time I'm seeing Julius Randle, he's, we're getting back on he's like jogging back, like it's like dogs. He's tired. Pelicans doing the same thing, jogging back because he's tired. He's winded, right? And so that takes back his game. Julius Randle to me would be, if Julius Randle gave me 15 points, higher efficiency, but gave me consistent defense, I think he'd be a beast for the Knicks.
I absolutely agree, but I rather see him at the 3. Defending, because honestly, last year he defended the perimeter better than he defended the paint. I think anybody.
What about RJ Barrett though? Now you have how do you, if you have RJ Barrett say the 3, right? You put say Burks or Bullock at the 2. Right?
Well, I was just saying hypothetically with this whole Obi at the 3 talk. I was just in reference to that, and I was just saying that I want RJ at the 3 or the 2. You know what I mean? He's interchangeable. He could do whatever at those 2 positions. But I'm saying that if I had to deal with Obi at the 3, I would rather see Julius Randle playing that 3 before I see Obi at this point in time. That's the point I was trying to make.
I would rather, man. No, I just don't like either option, man.
No, of course not.
So wait, Freezy, did you? Oh, he froze. Damn, Freezy, yeah. Freezy, you froze. I was gonna ask you guys about the Randall Frank rumor for Buddy Hield. Did you guys talk?
We talked about that earlier, and what I said was my main concern was for RJ Barrett with that, and the reason why that was my concern was because when Buddy Hield comes in, he will shoot over 16 shots a game.
Oh yeah,
and he was going to want the ball in his hand a lot because he does have a fairly high usage rate. So I'm saying, what does this do for the development of RJ Barrett? That was my main concern. And I was saying that, see, we make this mistake over and over again. Let's see what we have this year with our young guys. Let's see if RJ Barrett could develop to him being a playmaker on that perimeter on a consistent basis before we bring in a Hield. That was my main concern.
This is what I'm scared about with Hill, though, because this is what I think hurt Thibodeau with the Wolves a little bit. You don't want to lose the locker room, right? Because if you bring a guy like Buddy Hield who doesn't really work hard on any other part of his game outside of shooting, that's what he's really good at. You could lose a locker room if you're playing this guy and he gives you poor effort on defense, poor effort on rebounding, on doing anything else, right? But you're scolding other players for not doing the same, right? So, I think locker room is really important. Again, this is a guy who's had issues. I mean, last year you saw he was complaining about starting. He's liked, someone just put in the chat or put a while ago so that he liked a tweet that was criticizing the Kings. You don't want a possible locker room cancer, especially with such a team filled with vets who know what they're supposed to do and a bunch of young kids who are still impressionable, right? So,
correct.
Be very careful with bringing a guy like Buddy Hield. But again, I think it's more so on rumors, so I don't even know because people talk about Yeah, I mean, like people again, Nick. Some of these writers out here, man, they want to get a buzz, bro. They want to say, like I said, I was having an episode with Errol, right? I think it was on his show. We were talking about Randall possibly going to Utah. And the next day, rumors Randall's going to Utah. I'm like, you just got that from an internet show, bro. You like, where are you getting that Randall's going to? You were just talking about that as an idea. It wasn't as like, and so people are so hungry to put out these rumors that are coming out. I just don't see Buddy Hield as a like. If Buddy Hield was on the Knicks already, I could see Tom Thibodeau trying to get the best out of him. But to make to give up a first rounder,
right,
for him, and then give up Frank too, because you also have to remember. Tibbs wants to run that ice defense, the ice pick and roll defense, right?
That's correct.
Frank is going to be used to prevent players from setting the proper picks, disrupting the flow of the offense from the opponents, right?
Yeah.
To where they're taking bad contested 2-point shots, not be able to take threes or drive to the basket, and Frank might be an important part of that ice defense. Mm-hmm. So the whole Buddy Hield thing, I don't know about. I don't know. I just think it's rumors right now. Man.
I like Buddy Hield to the Knicks. I think Buddy Hield to the Knicks. Gets us in that mode where we create that winning culture. You know what I'm saying? And I think Tom Thibodeau's defensive philosophy, while I do like the ice screen. I like that better than blitzing the screen and roll. Because if you blitz the screen and roll, somebody on the floor somewhere on offense is wide open. So
wait, Freezy, but do you think that Buddy Hield has a winning attitude? Because you said you have his attitude, so
his attitude?
Yeah. You said he'll be good for us because of what he brings, and you mentioned his attitude.
No, I know. If I said his attitude, I misspoke. I'm saying I like what he brings offensively.
Oh, okay.
Defensively, I think you can cover it up by running the new morph zones that teams ran against Giannis, like the 3-2 zone, and that weird 2-1-2 something that looks like, I don't know, something off a spaceship. I don't know, whatever it is, it gave the Boston Celtics fits that Miami Heat ran it. It looks like a man defense, but it's not really. You know what I'm saying? It's like something out of Star Wars, some kind of thing Spoelstra and Pat Riley drew up. But it effectively shut down Brad Stevens and the Boston Celtics. I think he can probably run some of that. Hey man, I got it, man. I've been on for like 3 hours, man. I got to get out of here and go get some sleep.
Yeah, get some sleep, please.
Yeah, man. I got to recharge these batteries because we jumping back on at 11:45.
Yes,
okay. 11:45 would be here before you know it. All right. Hey, thanks to everybody in the chat. Hey, my mods. Hey, my mods, man, y'all the dopest mods in the game. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for and appreciate that MF for Doom coming through and chopping my head off in front of my daytime audience. I appreciate you have no idea what it feels like to get embarrassed in front of the home crowd. So I appreciate you for that. Talk about Devin Vassell. Yeah, I appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you.
Hey, tomorrow we're gonna try to do it at 8. I gotta figure out a configuration in order for us to do it at 8. Thank everybody for coming through. Make sure y'all subscribe to
Wait, Legion, what time you on tonight?
I wasn't gonna go on tonight because I'm still debating if I want to put out a regular video for the Suggs thing or do like a watch along like I did yesterday. Mm-hmm. So I'll see, but tomorrow I'll be on at 8 with Sim.
All right.
Yeah. So hey, make sure y'all keep an eye out for the Legion of Knicks podcast and the Knicks at Night podcast is back to back like Wheel of Fortune and Family Feud.
Oh yeah, one more thing before you go, Freezy, as I'm gonna do this every episode. And this also goes to all the content creators out there, man. This boy Freezy said, "Hey man, I'm at 181 subs, bro. If you guys just get me to like 200 by the end of the year, I'll be happy." He's at 575 subs in a matter of 2 weeks. So
hey, man.
Feeding this dude is doing 2 shows of freaking. He's a psycho. I'm gonna say
it's the home court advantage. The home court advantage. That's what it is, man. When I get on, I legit don't have energy, but when I get on and I see these psychos, they get me revved up, man. You know what I'm saying? It's all about them. But anyway, man, I'll see y'all later on tonight, man.
Peace.
Hey, y'all be safe, man.
You too, brother.
Stay safe.